Hello and welcome. I'm Reprobate Gamer, do call me Rep, and I welcome you to this special one-shot stream tonight. We are delighted to welcome George from Freestyle Studios, who's up there at the top somewhere, to guide us through new RPG Gallows Corner, ahead of its Kickstarter release in just 2 days, on the 3rd of February. Before I hand over to George, those who were with us prior know that we love to bring stories to life, and looking ahead to the following week, on Tuesday, we are bringing you back to our fortnightly campaign, Arcane Adventures in Andromedus, with Carrick in the GM chair. A meeting with the Crossroads Devil, employed by Arthur's patron, offered the party a solution to their mind plague problem. Only issue, it lies in the hands of death itself. Join us for the next episode of Arcane Adventures. Don't fear the Reaper. For once, we don't have a stream on Thursday evening, but you will find a huge amount of our actual plays over on our YouTube channel, whether that's one-shots or full campaigns in a number of game systems. Beyond that, we have our other long-running actual plays, so do keep posted to our socials for details alongside other off-stream games. You will find details of our socials down there if you look for the link tree. I'm sure Stream Elements will pick it up. I forget which side I'm on, in the chat as well. You can continue the conversation with this over in our Discord server. And we'll be back later to talk through what we can offer you onto our Patreon. But I think that's enough from me tonight. I will hand you over in one moment to our narrator, just to say to regular watchers, our usual points, bits, and subs rewards are not in effect tonight. This is pre-release content. We want to show it as it is, and not with the manic craziness that some of our boons and rewards can come up to. That said, if we have a hype train, maybe we'll smile sweetly to our narrator. And with all that done for now, George, take us away and lead us to revolution.
Hi everyone. First of all, guys, thanks so much for having me. I hope you are ready to enter into this kind of dark Robin Hood inspired adventure. We're going to go deep into the depths of Sherwood. Well, we're going to start near the depths of Sherwood Forest, and then we're going to go through Sherwood Forest, and we're going to end this act on the outskirts of the city of Nottingham. I'm George. I'm the creator and designer of Gallows Corner, a Peasants Revolt RPG. As Rep said, it releases on Kickstarter in not just less than 2 days, actually, mate. So thank you for that chilling reminder. I am terrified.
Entirely welcome. That's the last time I'll terrify you tonight, and then you've got me for the rest of it.
We're going to be as good as I'm going to keep myself as calm as we can. So Gallows Corner is a Peasants Revolt RPG. It's an alternative historical TTRPG. There's no fantastical elements. It is set in the England of 1376. I'll give you the quick spiel. The year is 1376. Half of England's people are dead from plague. You are a peasant among those who remain, and you are not happy. And we have our motley crew of newly outlawed peasants here, and we are going to be playing. One of our pre-written adventures called The Gold of Greenwood. Now, The Gold of Greenwood is Zine number 2 in our Tales of Old England series. So it's not the introductory adventure. So we are going to work out very quickly why the 4 of you were outlawed and why you are on the road to Sherwood Forest before we then get into a little bit of like how to play, and we'll work that kind of stuff out as we go. Can I ask, T, could you roll me a D10, please, mate?
Ooh. Already coming in hot. Let's go. 5.
A 5. So the 4 of you were accused of theft. You didn't do it, but the accusation stuck, and you were outlawed as a result of this accusation. Always as well, this is one of those things. Accusations can stick. There's a kind of lot of social toxicity around it. You've been outlawed for something you didn't do, which is a very common thing in Gallows Corner. Sometimes you have done what they say you did, but in this case, you definitely didn't do it. Dave, could you roll me a D10 as well, please? We're going to work out why the 4 of you have left the city of York and are heading south towards Sherwood Forest.
Coming at you like Cleopatra. There's a 2.
A 2. So one of you has a family connection to Sherwood Forest, to the area of Sherwood Forest. I'll let you decide who has that family connection and why, and maybe that can come into play later on. You don't need to reveal it now, but if one of you wants to think about who might have that family connection, we can run with that, and that'll be totally fine.
I'm happy to do it as soon as I roll it, if that's all right with everyone.
That's absolutely fine by me. Cool. So what we are going to do here is, so Gallows Corner is a rules light narrative first system, and the way it functions is that you are what you do. So Each of you have built a character. You are. Did you lose me a second there? I think I feel like
lose
I
you
lost
Just for a
myself.
second.
We got you back.
Oh, I thought it was
Okay,
me.
so you are peasants or working class people, and you've been outlawed. So we're going to work out. So in Gallows Corner, you are what you do, and each of you have built a character in advance. I'm going to go around to you one at a time and ask you who your character is, what their trade is, and what their job is, and then I'll be able to introduce how the dice system works in Gallows Corner. So I'm just going to go around as I see it on my screen. So Ben, can you tell us who your character is, what their trade is, and what their job is, please?
I think we don't have
Yes.
a Ben.
Oh,
I've got Ben.
no,
I
I
can
think-
see Ben.
I can only see. Actually, I can only see me and T on the video thing, but I think I can,
Yeah,
can
I
hear
can't see you
everybody.
either.
We can
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
you.
I can hear you.
That's fine. If we're all coming through on stream, I think we're good. Oh yeah, I'm off stream for some reason.
Mhm.
Okay, I'll try.
You're
I'll do
good.
my spiel and I'll rejoin.
Hmm.
Hello, I'm Ben. I am playing Gareth. My trade is the body, and my job is that of a servant, specifically a household guard, a former household guard. of a
Now
noble house.
outlawed, and so we're bringing that kind of
Mm.
semi-military training with you as well with the body. That's good stuff.
Mhm.
Dave, who is your character? What's their trade and what's their job?
Hello, I'm playing Tim, also known as the Bagman. He fetches the bin bags, brings them up to the dump, but sometimes he can be paid off to maybe get rid of some more troublesome rubbish, like bodies.
So we have Dave as the Hood and playing an assassin, right? As far as I
Yes,
remember.
sorry, yeah.
No,
sorry,
that's good.
didn't-
I love
did
I love the
Hood?
commitment to the bit, mate. I
Did I
love the
say
commitment
Hood?
to the bit.
I don't know. Oh yeah, sorry.
If you're an
Bagman, yes.
assassin, you'll be
Yes,
the Hood.
yes,
Yeah, that's
sorry.
what
Trade
it
the
is.
mask. Sorry, it says a mask. But it's the Hood, is it? Sorry, my bad.
It's the Hood for an assassin.
Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, that's who
Um,
he is.
Okay. T, who is your character? What's their trade? What's their job?
My character is Kessiel, and their trade is, I believe, market, and they
Mhm.
are a blacksmith.
A
I'm really looking
blacksmith.
forward-
Perfect.
Mhm.
Are you going traditional like ironwork blacksmith, like metalwork, or are you going to be like a seamstress, or because
Oh
there's all
no,
these different ways?
traditional ironwork
Big
blacksmith,
biceps, hammer
Absolutely.
and tongs.
rippling pectorals, leather apron, the full shebang.
Why wouldn't you want to be that? I totally
Of
get it.
course.
And then last but not least, the one other person here other than me who has played this game before, Rep, your character, trade and job, please.
So my character for this is Clement. Clement, he goes by, he's one of the market people, and he's a picker. He likes to go up there and find what little items might be available for sale.
So he is, in terms of the game terms, he's a scrapper,
He's a
right? But
scrapper
you're
in terms
calling
of
him
the
a
action.
picker. So he's going to
Yes.
go around and he's like a rag and bone man, essentially, right? He's going around finding other people's trash and turning it into treasure as much as he can. Perfect. All right. So like I said, in Gallows Corner, you are what you do. So when in Gallows Corner, I don't tell you what dice to roll when you are being tested. I simply state what your character is being tested on. It is then up to you as the player to advocate for the dice that you use in your test. So we start off with your three traits. These are physical, intellectual, and emotional. You have all assigned a dice, 2d6s and a d8 to those traits. If I'm saying your character is being tested on their ability to jump over a wall, that's going to be a physical test. But then so you can work out the baselines of what they are. However, you can combine those three traits at different points. So you could do a physical and an emotional test, or an emotional and an intellectual test, right? You can combine those things. Those are the first dice you add to your dice pool. Then you think about your trade. Now, your trade is your character's general understanding of the world. So we've got two characters from the market. So we've got Rep and we've got T. The people who are in the market see the world as a series of transactions. Give and take, buy and sell, barter and profit. You understand the world as a series of things that can be bought and sold, or deals that can be negotiated. So think about that's your general way of understanding the world. Dave, for the Hood is the people who've chosen the Hood have chosen a difficult life. They've chosen to exist in the shadows, outside of the law. They see the world as a series of opportunities that other people definitely wouldn't take, but that they are willing. They're willing to kind of exploit. So that's how the people from the Hood understand the world. And then with Ben, with Gareth, and the body. people with the body trade understand the world as something to be endured physically, overcome physically, worked, and their body is the way they're going to interact with the world and understand the world at all times. So if you think your trade is relevant, you can add your trade dice. And then finally, and only if you've added your trade, you can then talk about adding your job. So your job is your very particular way of interacting with the world. Mm-hmm. So Dave, as an assassin, the way you're going to interact with the world is by knifing people in the back. It might not necessarily come in relevant all the time, but when it does come in relevant, it's going to come in really relevant. T is a blacksmith. That is a wonderful dagger there, Dave. T as a blacksmith, you're very, very good with your hands, right? So it's not just going to be a test that's like, can you forge this metal for me? But it's, can this thing be fixed or changed or broken? You're going to be very good at that. Ben, as the servant, you are going to be very good at kind of ingratiating yourself with people. So like, servants they're studied. There's practiced deference there, right? They're studied and they're good at talking to people who are above them in the social hierarchy. Not that we believe that with Gallows Corner, but we all understand this world. But, we're going to work to break it down. And then Rep, as a scrapper, as a picker, you are going to be, when it comes to your job, you're going to be about turning trash into treasure and seeing things that other people don't. So these are the ways, as you advocate for building your dice pool, this is what you do. Once you've built your dice pool, you then roll those dice. You're looking for any result of a 5 or above. That is a success. Everyone nice and clear on how that works? Perfect. Mm-hmm. It's even easier in practice than it is me just saying it out like that. And Rep can advocate for this because he picked it up almost instantaneously. Right, so we are going to get started. And I'm going to have a quick drink before we do because my voice is already starting to feel tense. Are we ready, Outlaws, to dive into the world of Gallows Corner? All right, perfect.
Let's see what we can do.
I am looking forward to this, guys. I hope you all are as well. Okay, the road through Sherwood. The road south winds over upland hills and through rocky shallows. It definitely feels like you're walking uphill, but it's difficult to tell. The Wapentake of Broxtowe, 100 by another title, is covered by the vast expanse of Sherwood Forest, known to the locals as the Greenwood. 20 or more miles south sits the city of Nottingham, its walls and its mighty castle squatting over the county. The King's Great Highway carries you south at some speed, running from York to the north, through the market town of Mansfield, and finally through the gates of Nottingham itself, passing right by the town's infamous Gallows. This is a busy road full of traders, pilgrims, and drovers. Or at least it should be a busy road. No one has passed you for more than 2 hours now. The greenwood thickens around you the further south you walk. The towns and farms you passed further north have given way to scattered villages and woodland homesteads, but there is no one to be seen. You scour your mind for an explanation. Is it a festival day? A holy feast? Is there some kind of tournament taking place that has drawn everyone further south? Nothing. You cannot think of a thing that would explain this isolation. The road is well kept, and the sunlight seems more intense half a mile further up. Fields, fences, and farms can be seen in the distance, nestled deep within the green. While you're on the road, we're going to take an opportunity for us to get to know how your characters know each other. So you've all been outlawed. You were all outlawed together because you were accused of theft. You didn't do it, but the accusation stuck. Rep, your character Clement. How does Clement, a scrapper, know Tim the assassin? How has that come to pass?
Well, I've already had to be sort of moved from counties once already. A slight disagreement back in my county of Somerset between me and the local land baron about what constituted scrap and what constituted his rightful property.
Turns out his own clothes definitely aren't scrap, right?
One would like to say that they were available, and I was trying to make use of it. And I found I needed to move to markets in different places, so I moved to a more northern climate, far away from that particular baron in question. And I stumbled across Tim, and I found knowing this young gentleman has been quite useful in providing opportunities to meet new folks, to pass my wares on to, and to get a slight head start into who may be about to, let's say, provide more stuff for the market on account of them being dead and not needing it no more?
Okay, so we've got Clement the Scrapper knows Tim. It's kind of associated itself with Tim because it's a business opportunity for Clement, right? So there's some friendship there, but it's a kind of business opportunity. Tim, Dave, how does Tim the assassin know Kez the blacksmith?
Well, there was this one time, Kez came to old Tim, and she says, customer was treating her. Sorry, is Kez he, him, she, her, they, them?
She, her.
Her.
Yeah.
Well, old Kez came to Tim. I was working away in my dump, and the customer had gone a little bit sort of wrong. It's the definition of a wrong, in it, and sort of tried to have his way and maybe steal the profits. And old Kez showed him how the hammer works, didn't she? And she came to old Tim because old Tim's got a reputation, you see. She came to old Tim one night and she says, Tim, rubbish needs taken out. Old Tim said, no need to pay me, Kez. You can just owe me one.
Okay, so Kez the blacksmith owes a favor to a notorious but secretive rubbish dump assassin. I'm liking this. I'm liking this for Tim. I'm not liking this for Kez. This sounds bad for Kez. Kez, how does Kez the blacksmith know Gareth the servant? The household, and we should add here, not just any servant, but actually like a one-time kind of like military campaigning kind of servant.
If this helps, I don't want to step on the toes. If this helps, my father was a blacksmith. He was the smith for the household, which is how I was kind of raised, sort of, on the outskirts of the household.
Well, that does help a lot. Actually, it makes it so much easier. I was going to say that Kez would do some of the blacksmithing jobs around the house. Any little things that needed to be fixed up, Kez would like come in, collect, take away. But Kez could have learned from
Apprentice with
Apprentice Smith. I was the son your father wanted.
I mean, this is a good background though, right? Like, because we've actually then there's a kind of like brother-sister relationship going on here, right? Because an apprentice would have lived in with the blacksmith, raised in the same place. So okay, this is good.
And Gareth is, not that it's going to be relevant with this, but Gareth is missing his sister. It was something to do with his sister, which is why he ended up leaving the service on the run with the household. So
there we go. All right, and then
have some kind of family in Kez.
So Ben, how does Gareth the servant know Clement the Scrapper?
Well, I was thinking that, outside of, being sort of just kind of a household guard, a glorified guard dog, Gareth wasn't as hardened as, a soldier who was maybe sent off to, campaign to fight an actual war. And I think maybe when he had to flee the household, maybe I think he realized he was perhaps less equipped to survive than he thought, though he was quite low on the social ladder. He was still probably higher than a lot of people. And so when he was out on his ear with nothing, I think, he probably fell in with Clement, somebody who I think maybe kindly taught him how to, pick through the rubbish.
Kindred spirit in there, I did. Someone else.
Pick through the rubbish. And that's another thing, actually. I think whether Clement or any of the others would notice that Gareth has quite a sort of a neutral accent. Whatever his natural sort of common accent was kind of not literally, beaten out of him, but I think he learned deference from his father, to ingratiate yourself, keep your head down, and just kind of do as they say,
Don't stand out. Standing out as a servant is a bad thing, right? And unless it's really an appropriate time.
Standing out is partly what got him in trouble, because he was friends with the Lord's son, and then something happened that we found out that you're not really friends with the noble. You know,
Your friends
are
while it
friends of
suits
nobles.
them. Your friends while it suits them, and then as soon as it
Maybe
doesn't, you're out on your ass, right?
yeah.
Okay, so we've got a kind of semi-family connection going on here. We've got people working to mutual advantage with one another. We've got one person owing another a favor. This is good. Okay, right. So as you're walking south into Sherwood, and the forest has gotten kind of thicker around you, but it's started to thin out. You've been walking for about an hour since we first started. And it's the middle of summer, so it's a beautiful golden day. It's probably about 11 in the morning, something like that. And the forest is not a completely thick woodland at all points. It's a kind of like it covers almost the whole county of Nottinghamshire, and it kind of thins out in different points. And you've gone from like wide open farmlands to kind of smaller hamlets. Calling them villages would be overselling it. These are kind of groups of 2 or 3 houses. And as you're walking, you notice that up ahead, this isolation that you've been seeing, there is no one on the road, and this is very, very, very odd. And as you're walking, you start to see just in the distance, or just around a bend, you can see the edge of a house. T, could you roll a D10 for me, please?
Mm-hmm. That is a 2.
A 2. So as you move towards this bend, you see there's this one isolated cottage on its own, and then you get the sense that there's more to follow. But as you walk up, you can see from about 20 or 30 paces, Kez can see a white cross, like it's been hastily painted on the door of this cottage. Now, this is 1376. If you are older than the age of 14, you have lived through plague. You have survived plague. If you're older than that, if you're about 40, you've survived through 2 waves of plague. You know what a white cross on a door means, or you think you know what a white cross on a door means. Every time you've ever seen it, it means there's plague there. But you've not heard of any plague. You've not heard of any new outbreaks. This is news that would have spread fast. T, what's Kez's reaction to?
I believe Kez would have an idea. Oh, sorry.
She sees this white cross on this.
Sorry, I think my connection is like either
No,
dropping
it's not
in
yours.
and out or not. Okay, cool. I believe Kez seeing this cross, they would have been quite familiar with seeing it, and they would just kind of point at the house and say, there wasn't, nobody heard anything about this, did they? And they're going to look particularly at the picker, because the picker would have heard things in markets, and also like looking around, like servants in households, they always speak, in the dump. Everybody's always talking to everybody else, so they're just kind of going to look around and think like, this is odd, and we have not seen a single soul, which is even worse.
Very strange, to be sure. There's no indications in the amulets we've passed so far that there would be any kind of bird outbreak.
No.
Something more local, maybe. Just a sickness.
Or someone adopting the sign,
No.
perhaps.
The White Cross is very much the plague.
Is the paint fresh, or does it look like it's been there for a while?
So as you get closer to the house, the paint looks like it's only been on there maybe an hour or 2. Like it's still, you can see that it's stripped down if you were to touch it. And this is whitewash rather than like thick modern paint. It's like lime wash, whitewash, or whatever. So it's very watery. So as it's been like hastily slapped on, it's run down and it's dry now, but it's been quite a hot morning. But it's clearly this has been put on there today.
Are there other houses that are sort of within eye shot, like that we can see?
So as you come up to the front door and the road bends round through the trees, you can see there's maybe 2 or 3 other houses kind of grouped together, just maybe 20 paces further down the road, but you can't. They're all kind of facing into the road, so you can't see the front doors from those.
I'll take a jog up and see if I can see if any of the other houses have been daubed in a similar way.
All right, Dave, roll me a D10, please, mate.
Coming at you, like Cleopatra. 3.
A 3. So as you're kind of jogging on towards these other houses, you can't see the first thing. You can't see the doors from where you are, but you can see that the closest house to you that wasn't this original one, the thatched roof is blackened. There's kind of black acrid smoke coming out of it. It's not actively on fire, but clearly there has been a fire in this house at some point within the last hour.
Okay. Is the front door visible?
As you move around it, the door has actually been it looks like it's been kicked open. So it's not I'm being joined by the dog again. He's coming in to join the revolution.
Well.
He's come to join the revolution. The door looks like it's been kicked off. And as you kind of, if you were to look behind you and see the house opposite, that one looks like someone's taken probably an axe to it, like some kind of bladed thing, but probably an axe. There is no one around here.
Okay, so both doors, both front and across the road, it's not immediately possible to tell whether there have been white marks daubed on the outside of those doors without sort of going up to them and turning them over.
In those cases, it doesn't look like there's white marks done on those doors, but they've clearly been forcibly opened.
Well, that's
from
fine.
The
that's fine. Yeah. So it seems that it's just the one house that has sort of been plague marked then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Tim is not gonna run back with the speed with which he ran towards the other houses. He has that knowledge now, and he'll just he'll amble back.
So what are Clement and Gareth doing in this moment? Are they kind of coming further into this little hamlet, or are they hanging back? Or
Clement might be investigating windows on this first property just to see what's happening inside.
Okay, so Rep, roll me a D10, please.
That is I can't read that from here. That's a 9.
A 9. So as you're looking in the window, and it's like, this isn't a glass window, this is just like it's a hole in the wall. As you're looking in the window of this plague marked house, there is disturbance in there. It looked like things were maybe set up for breakfast. There's still a pot, like a pot of pottage still boiling away on a fire, or it's maybe simmering away. The fire's kind of died down a bit now. It looks like whoever was in there grabbed things in a hurry. It doesn't look like this one was forcibly entered as such, but it does look like whoever was in there has grabbed stuff and gotten out of there as quickly as they can.
Something very odd going on in these parts.
And as you're looking through the window, the wind changes. The wind has been blowing north to south all of the morning. You've had a nice cool breeze at your back, but the wind changes and starts to blow south to north, and you can see the kind of like this high green. It's still the middle of summer, so the wheat is high, but it's not ready for harvest yet, so it's nice and green still. And you see the wind blow south to north, and on the wind, Clement can hear the sound of church bells. And this is not like, sometimes with church bells, they're playing a kind of recognizable tune. This is just one note again and again and again and again, the same bell being rung.
That's never a good sign. That's not a good sign anywhere I've been when that's making that sort of noise. We might want to
just from the direction from the direction we were headed.
The direction you're headed, yeah. So you were going north to south, and you can hear this sound coming from the south. And you know that the market town of Mansfield, lies in between you and Nottingham, which is your destination. So it would figure that a bell that loud is going to be in a church big enough to hold it, and that would be not something like this hamlet. It would definitely be a town.
Yeah. Well, Gareth was going to just have just a look around to see, obviously, especially now that Clement has said, obviously, there's and and Tim have said, obviously some people it was kicked in, and he's thinking maybe some people were dragged away. Someone maybe got out before they could be the third house to be dragged away. I don't know. He was just going to see, did it look like anybody, if people did flee or were dragged off, was there any mark? Probably not. It's very dry morning, but in vain, look to see if there's any mark, or even, possibly through the fields.
So as Gareth is looking around, and he walks maybe beyond all three of the houses that we've seen so far, not too far beyond it, but into these small kind of wheat fields. And what Gareth sees is erratic paths. Okay, what Gareth sees is erratic paths through through these wheat fields. Now, there are like what I would call single file, human made paths going south, and you can tell because the wheat has been flattened in that direction. But as you're looking as well, you notice that there are some that are wider. And as you look more closely, you see that there are hoof prints. These are like horses' hooves. Maybe 2 or 3 mounted people, and they have ridden through the fields. And they've flattened it coming towards the houses.
Okay.
I have a question. The horse hooves, did they have shoes or not?
So Kez is being tested on her ability to determine whether these were shod hooves or not. Now, this should be a pretty easy test for Kez to do, because I think what we'll do is, just as this is the example of the first test, I'll walk through how I would build the dice pool for this. So I would sit there and say, okay, so Kez, this is going to be an intellectual thing, right? Because you're trying to work something out. So we add your intellectual dice. It's the market. So you're trying to work, I suppose you were trying to work out kind of the status of these riders, right? Because like shod hooves versus unshod hooves, that's going to suggest money and wealth and stuff like that. So you could add the trade in there. And then you're a blacksmith. You know what a shod hoof looks like. So in this case, I would say you're going to be rolling your intellectual dice, your trade dice, and your job dice all together. And you're looking for a 5+ on any of those dice.
5+ on any of those.
Yeah.
That is a 6, a 3, and a 2.
Perfect. All you need is the 6. That's good. So yeah, these are shod horse like hooves, and you get a sense. You know what you're looking at here, right? These are not just like, this is not just a local smithy. These are high quality. This is castle steel, castle horseshoes.
Ooh. They must have been chasing somebody down. These are not the horses of the likes of you and I.
We should definitely be getting off the road then, perhaps, in case there's...
I'd say so. And I think following some of these paths into the forest would be the best bet.
I know what's been going on.
Him is jauntily like walking along the center of the road that you've just suggested that we all get off.
Gareth is
I always
thinking.
applaud his confidence, but
well, if maybe somebody did something that the local, lord didn't like, slap a cross on the door, good excuse to burn someone out of their house.
It doesn't take much to do something that the local lords don't like.
Okay, so we're gonna move on from this hamlet, right? You want to keep head. So this, you can still hear these church bells coming out from the south. South is the direction you were headed anyway. Is that still the plan?
I think Tim would like to have a quick look in through the window of the house with the white cross.
Rep already did.
Oh, did he? Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
there is
is there something? Sorry, no. Is there something that he might see that Rep didn't? Have we definitively proved that there's nothing else to be seen?
As Tim is having a look around, one thing you do find, Tim, and this is something only you see, and it's up to you whether you want to introduce this to the rest of your traveling companions. Behind the house that no one's looked in yet, you find a man axe in hand, dead, sat against a fence, and his eyes are wide open, like a look of panic, like resigned panic, if that's even a possible thing to feel. And he's got like a gut wound, and you know, Tim, that this is a wound that takes a long while to die from. This is not a quick death. And he sat propped up behind this house that no one has yet looked at.
So does it look like he scooched himself there in his last moments, or he received the wound
so
there?
there's a kind of a trail of like coagulated blood that's come in from around the other side of the house. Like he's kind of dragged himself there to sit and try and get as comfortable as he can in his last moments.
Possible to tell what the weapon was?
It looks like a knife or a sword.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, cool. He'll scooch off and meet the guys in the road. So,
okay.
Gareth is just suggesting, okay, if we make our way down the road, maybe on
downtown. Sorry.
Yeah, stick close to the wheat, just in case you need to dive in, duck in. Should we hear hoof fall, or
Kess?
Yeah.
Kess is definitely going to have probably a shocking amount of weapons just kind of hanging off them now. Just be like, I don't like the look of this at all.
So it's worth mentioning that in Gallows Corner, every person carries a knife for eating, like a dagger about this long. Everyone eats off one, so you will all have that. And then beyond that, you are considered to have the tools of your trade. So Kez will have a kind of like a blacksmith. She'll have a hammer. She'll have some tongs, a poker maybe, and will know how to swing those things. Tim, as an assassin, is expected to have a few knives about him. A servant is going to have, I don't know, some nicer clothes than other people maybe. And a picker is going to have a good bag.
Yeah, Gareth has chosen to dress down.
He's divested himself
and he
of his
grew
finery.
he grew his hair out and shaggy and his beard long. Yes, he'll have the traditional medieval bollock dagger, as they call it.
The bollock knife. Yeah,
the bollock knife. It's a knife with two bollocks on it.
Never heard of that.
Could I just George? Could I just Garrison's? I suppose it would legally he wouldn't have been able to carry anything else. Could I argue? Could he have a stick, a walking stick?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Having a walking stick that you can use as a quarterstaff, absolutely fine for you to have. Yeah, not a problem.
He probably would have been trained. I mean, he's only a guard, so he probably would have been trained with a spear. So I think,
but he knows that a spear has two ends, right? And both ends.
So he's kind of more used to it.
That's absolutely fine. So as you start to leave down the road, this is a place abandoned, a place of ghosts haunted by you, the living. Whatever happened here, a void has been left behind. The road forges ahead, unaware of its own lack of traffic. A green road, the trees forming a canopy overhead that filters the midday sunlight into dancing motes and piercing shafts. Mansfield, a prominent town, is nearby, no more than 2 or 3 miles away. There, where the sound of church bells rings out, you must find an explanation. The trees here, the trees of Sherwood, are old. The oak trees have rooted and sprouted and grown and watched for 1,000 years and will stand sentry for 1,000 more. The church bells continue to ring out from the south. Are they a warning or are they calling for help? Ahead, as you look down the road, no more than 100 yards away, crows gather in the road and on the branches of the trees. This is a sign that doesn't beg a question. The carrion eaters squawk angrily as you come close, for a moment drowning out the unmistakable creak of a strained and straining rope. A black hood, holes pecked through, cover the man's face. Feet point lazily back along the King's Highway, telling you to turn and go back the way you came. His hands are bound together in front of him with rope, palms bloody from the struggle to breathe. He's dead, and he's telling you why. A sign around his neck, painted in whitewash, reads, "I refuse to pay my lawful taxes and tithes to the sheriff. I am one of 100, hanged." The crows have moved along the road. There's another and another. You pass 5, 10, 20 more men and women swinging, each with the same sign before you see the outskirts of Mansfield, the trees thinning and opening up into a wide clearing a mile or two across. This market town is supposed to be one of the jewels of the county, a town second only to Nottingham. Today, Mansfield burns. So you come on Mansfield and you see a town that is largely on fire. Now, this is a fine town. There's money here. That as you look down into it's in a slight valley, right? And you're kind of looking down into this slight valley from the edge of the trees, and you can see at the center of town stone buildings, or at least the ground floors are stone and the second floors are probably wood. Some of them might be fully stone buildings. This is where the merchants live. This is where the market is held. But on the outskirts, you see, as you move back from the center, as your eyes travel back towards the closest houses to you, you go from fine wooden houses to dilapidated wooden houses to hovels and shacks on the edge of town. And it's clear that this is where the fire caught first, because most of these buildings are burnt out. The King's High Road still runs through down into the center of town, and these church bells, you can hear them coming far louder now out of the haze and the smoke that hangs over the town. You can see the church about 500 meters further down the road in front of you, and you can hear clearly that this is where the bells are coming from.
Ain't that a pickle to behold?
Wonder what happened.
This town would be a great place to hide a body.
There's many a body probably in this town.
I know, that's the point. We bringing in a body from another town you want to get rid of.
Seems like a lot of logistics.
Well, I think I know someone that appreciates the logistics of hiding a body.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, looks like our chances of getting fed and watered in Mansfield might be scuppered.
Not scuppered. Just more affordable.
The question is,
find
do
a way
we
to make a bob or two in all this? No.
Yeah. Question is, do we make for the bells or give a wide berth?
Might be good to know what we're contending with in Mansfield first.
So the whole town is in flames, right?
Yeah, so and if it isn't on fire, it looks like it might well be soon enough. Like the fire is kind of spreading further south.
In the 1300s, was there like a burgomaster or a lord's house or a mayor's house that would be?
So you in a town like Mansfield, a market town, you'd have guild members and guild houses and stuff like this. You'd probably have like an elected mayor who is elected from among the merchant class. So there's in Mansfield is a market town that hasn't been given its borough status yet. So once you become a borough, it's like self-governing. This is still part of what's called the 100 of Broxtowe. So it's still, there is a lord of this area, but it's unlikely that his manor is in the town itself. His manor is going to be further out where it commands the rest of the land.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, probably. I think Tim is going to start wandering towards where he thinks the guild hall might be.
So the guild hall would definitively be in the center of town. It's going to be wherever that market is held. It's where the church is, where you can hear the bells coming from as well. That's where this kind of stuff's going to be.
I will BRB in 1 second.
Yeah. Well, if no other reason, I think Gareth is going to, well, at least head in, kind of look around. Obviously, avoid, but if look around, actually see. I mean, if it looks like this is currently on fire, I mean, the people may need help,
So you can't hear the sounds. I mean, you'd think if people were trapped in these buildings, you'd expect to hear screaming, crying, calls for help, stuff like that. The thing that stands out about this place. Yeah, I think I dropped out for a second there.
Saying the thing that stands out.
The thing that stands out about this town, other than the fact that it's on fire and that there's this constant peal of church bells, is how quiet it is. there aren't people on the streets. There aren't people trying to put these fires out. It's like the town has been abandoned.
Yeah, like if everyone was fled or evacuated before. So
Exactly.
maybe not an accident.
That seems to be the case.
Somebody put Mansfield to the torch.
Yeah, I would be of the opinion,
considering what we saw in the hamlet,
Exactly, yeah. If one house caught fire, if it was a kind of domestic,
yeah,
the others would follow soon.
Yeah,
domestic fire, everyone would.
Yeah.
But would be headed towards the church as well to find out
head
what's
towards the
happened.
church bells.
Yeah. Okay, so as you're moving through Mansfield, you can see that some of the doors on the houses that aren't yet fully burned, or maybe the fire hasn't caught properly there, you can see some of these white crosses on them again. And these are not like religious crosses, they're like X crosses, they're like crossed out.
Are the X's dry?
These ones look drier than the ones that you found further north. These look drier than the ones you passed earlier on. It would seem so. And so as you're moving, and again, some of these houses look like they've been broken into. Some of them like there's kind of valuables. Now they don't have lots of value, but there are things that people would want to have taken with them that have been kind of left around on the roads. They're people have tried to grab things as they're leaving, as they're being dragged out. It's unclear, but things have been dropped.
If there's things on the road that aren't too personal, but are maybe of value, Clement's sack might be getting a bit fuller as we're heading along down.
So, I mean, what Clement is seeing is, it's kind of extra clothing, and it's blankets, and it's foodstuffs. And in some cases, one or two cases, there's paper, and paper is written on paper is conspicuous in the fact that it's normally, you wouldn't expect to see this in normal people's houses.
Yep.
So there are kind of written documents and stuff that you're finding around as well.
I mean, that all sounds like useful stuff for people traveling southwards. And so, that sack's got a bit fuller. And
okay,
I was thinking whether it was whether one of 100 was meant literally, or as just one of an innumerable number of tax dodgers. It seems the Sheriff of Nottingham. It seems the Sheriff. Maybe that's what the X is, not for plague, but for, well, probably something the Sheriff considers a plague on society. So if this is maybe if Mansfield or some of the common folk of Mansfield weren't paying their due taxes. Was it him? Was it the sheriff? I mean, we've just seen this, as a display of hanged men. With ones that were caught, hanged, and some got away, others burnt.
Oh, till we find out what.
So as you come get closer into the church and into the market square, the road turns from kind of like, dried out mud to cobblestone, right? This is where the moneyed classes live. The open sewers are a little bit fresher smelling, not much fresher smelling, but a bit fresher smelling. And you can see in front of you a church. And this is Mansfield is a wealthy town, but this is a big church, even for a town of this, size, even with its wealth. And the door, as you approach it coming towards where the front door is, and the door is flung wide open. And as you come through, and the smoke as the wind blows some of the smoky haze away, you see one man, and he's probably in his 40s or 50s. He's humbly dressed. He's not badly dressed, but he's humbly dressed. So he's, this is someone who's evidently got some money to take care of themselves, but is not lavishing it out on their clothes. But the clothes that he's wearing are a kind of mix of old and new. Some of it's been repaired. Some of it's been clearly repaired multiple times. Some of it's been well loved, but one or two bits of it are new. And this man,
he doesn't look like clergy.
He doesn't look like clergy, no, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's not involved with the
No.
church.
He's
So
not.
he's not dressed as a priest or a monk, put it that way. And he is ringing this bell, and you can see that he's kind of like, you can see next to him that he was clearly wearing like an overshirt or something that he's taken off, and he's now down to like this kind of like undyed linen shirt that's soaked through with sweat. He's taken his hat off and he's thrown that to the ground, and he is just on the beat every single time ringing this bell. And the haze of the fire has not reached into this part of the market because it can't jump. Obviously it's stone, right? There's nothing for it to jump over to onto the church. The fire, and as you look around, it's like there's some kind of empty water buckets and stuff. It's clear that some people, were either paid to or were throwing water over these buildings to kind of douse them to stop them getting caught by the flames.
George, depending on whether this chap is willing, Gareth is going to try and not violently, but try to greet him and try to seize the rope to give the bell a bit of a pull to try and give this chap a break. If he'd say,
So let me get this straight. Before you introduce yourself, you're going to try and take the rope of the bell off.
Well, no, that's not bad. No, he was going to
just check it. That's fine if you want to.
No. I think he was just going to approach and just say, he'll say, can I help?
Okay, all right. So,
gesturing to the rope,
Yeah, so Gareth introducing himself is fine. That's fine. We don't need a test for that. Obviously, that's a purely narrative thing. However, Gareth is being tested on his ability to put this man at his ease. And this man is quite clearly tired and stressed. But you are being tested on Gareth's ability to put him at his ease.
So emotional, I would imagine.
I would think that would be a good starting point. Yeah.
Yeah. So emotional. If I could, with a trade for the body, if he's coming up to look like he's going to help, and that he looks at least able-bodied, that he can, whether he wants this wrong or whether it's something else, and possibly, with the job of a servant again, he's used to maybe sometimes, having to approach somebody who is maybe this man is, I would imagine, probably of a higher station than him, but who might be in a bad mood, might be stressed. Maybe there's something, you may have to give bad news.
I think that's a really good way. That's a great way of looking at the servant stuff. Like, absolutely, you are used to.
It doesn't look like Tim coming up being like, can I help? Not the black lung, me lord.
Tim.
I should add as well, right. So first off, Ben, I think that's absolutely great. Emotional, the body, and servant as a job, all of those things totally fine. I also just want to point out something that I think I've just noticed based on Ben's impression of Dave doing Tim, which is quite like the guy who sells you the guns in Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Hello, stranger, like opening his coat up.
I like to think he's more like the guy that Richard O'Brien played in Rocky Horror Show.
Oh, Riff Raff.
Yeah, he's kind of like that. But just the hair is slicked down, and he's got this thing possibly long and wide trench coat.
Like, old Joe from the Muppets Christmas Carol. What you got for old Joe?
Oh, you go.
Now you understand why this is a professional, not a personal friendship. In terms of...
George, that would be obviously for the emotional, it's a D6, and a D6 for the trade, and a D6 for the job.
Yep, and you're looking for a 5+ on any of them.
Yeah, and sorry, George, I know, is it just those three, or is there a base of the D10? That's just like a general.
The D10 is just for that's the So we don't use, so in Gallows Corner we use D6, D8, D12 for your EXP dice, job dice, trade dice. Yeah, the D10 is just for tables,
just for anything else. And one thing, sorry, just in case it does come up. So you mentioned combining. So say if you were doing both physical and emotional. Is that just the extra dice, or is it a case of you would choose?
It's an extra. You could add the extra. You could add the extra dice in.
Okay, 4, a 5, and a 6. So
so that's enough. There's definitely you've got 2 successes in there, but you only ever need the 1 anyway. So as Gareth approaches this man, he he lets go of the bell rope, and he doesn't appear scared of you. He doesn't appear aggressive. He is somewhat wary. He didn't expect anyone to be here, especially people he's never seen before. And he lets the bell kind of stop ringing. The rope still goes up and down for a while, but then Gareth, you can grab onto it and start ringing the bell.
Yeah.
And he turns to you. So this man turns to you, Gareth, and I'm assuming the rest of you are kind of like maybe standing in the door of the church or just outside the door of the church, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at you, and he kind of this wry smile comes across this man's exhausted face. And he looks around and he looks out and he's like, sorry guys, market day's tomorrow. You've come the wrong day. And kind of gives himself a weary chuckle before his legs give out from underneath him and he kind of slumps to the floor. He's still conscious, but he kind of slumps to the floor tired.
Oh, well, what happened here? Just me.
So,
he's not shouting at him. He's just over the bell.
Over the bell, yeah. Because this is going to be pretty loud. So
yeah, he's literally just like, what? Sorry, what the fuck is going on?
So the guy kind of props himself up. So he kind of puts his hands behind him. So he's kind of sat back a little bit. Then he looks around. He's like, "Not for you guys. You're not from around here, are you?"
Oh,
what gave it
what
away?
gave it away?
Coming up from York.
Oh, York. It was, I would have said it's a nice place. I've never actually been there myself, but my friends have been. They say it's a very nice place. It doesn't compare much to...
rather distracted, and I don't think you can have market day tomorrow. The state of the town is currently.
So he kind of looks out at you, and finally his resolve kind of cracks and he starts to kind of weep a bit. Like he starts to kind of sob, and he's like,
oh no,
I'm sorry. Like, it seems ridiculous for him to do, but he apologizes to you for the state of himself and the state of the church. And he's like, he said, he's struggling for his words. And he said, every day I ring that bell calling the town to church. And he kind of like, these sobs are racking his body as he looks up at Gareth ringing it. And he says, never thought I'd see a day where I rung them to warn people to stay away. You shouldn't have come here. This was a warning. This is a warning. And he says, you have to,
We still kind of need to know what the warning's for and what we're meant to be avoiding.
I thought someone might have needed help.
T, you look like you've got something. Kez has got something to add there.
Kez would probably have kind of like gone to him and kind of like hunkered down and taken their skin to just kind of offer them with like a very wry kind of like, they're there on the back, and be like, how were we supposed to know this is a warning? Is this the warning bell or?
So he kind of catches himself a little bit, and he's like, I would have thought the smoke and the fire probably would have warned you off, but hey, why
were you ringing the bell?
He looks around at you, and he's a little bit freaked out by Tim. I think he's a little bit kind of like, he gets a vibe from Tim that Tim's maybe a dangerous person to cross, but then he's not trying to cross you, Wood. So he looks at you and he's like, well, I suppose I better tell you what happened. And he kind of stands, he uses Kez to kind of help pull himself up, and he kind of stands back up and he looks at Gareth and he's like, you can stop ringing the bell now, lad. It's anyone who needed to be is gone by now. And as the last of the kind of echoes of the bell ring out around the church, and he takes you over to the pews and he sits you all down. And he's like, what do you know about Nottingham and who runs it?
What would we know about Nottingham and who runs it?
There's a sheriff in it.
I'm not sure.
I mean, I think you wouldn't know anything about it. You wouldn't know anything unless you visited it before, which is probably unlikely. You wouldn't know much about it. You know that there's a sheriff. You've seen on the signs that
I was going to say we got a bit of a first impression. No, Gareth may have, it's like general knowledge of how a sheriff might operate, but not specifically like he wouldn't know anything.
Not this one.
No, it's just
so this man. Who, by the way, because none of you have asked his name is Alex. His name's Alexander, and we'll assume that he's introduced himself to you as he's gone to sit you down. His name's Alexander Scott, and he's like, he says, I'm the sexton of this church. My job is to look after the body of the congregation. I disperse food. I make sure people get here. I arrange funerals. I do this, I do that. And he says, I've lived here my entire life, and all I've ever done is try to help people. And he said, there are others like me as well. There's others that try to help. And then he says, and there are others that don't. There are others that will use your help and turn your help against you. And he's like, our sheriff, that he spits. And this is for a man like this to spit inside a church is a real visceral reaction. He spits on the floor. And he's like, God forgive me, but that man's hellbound for sure. And he kind of
what you really feel, Sexton. Don't hide them.
Yeah, get off the fence now.
He says, he asked you, he said, have any of you heard of Guy of the Greenwood before?
No.
We'll assume this is probably a no. He says, Guy is one of those that helps us, and he helps us by standing up against the sheriff. Him and the rest of the Greenwood outlaws, they live out in the forest. Guy's been there for 10 years now. He was driven out of town by the sheriff. And all he's tried to do is help us. And every year the taxes get worse, and the tides get bigger, and the beatings get worse, and there's more soldiers and there's less food. And finally, how old is who?
Guy of the Greenwood.
Probably 35, something like that.
Okay, Tim would be probably 20.
Okay.
And at this, you mentioned a connection in Sherwood Forest. Tim visibly closes up now. So he kind of makes a show of this place is awfully dirty, and he grabs
looking at Tim,
sweep up and maybe move out of the conversation now.
Yeah, looking at Tim and then looking to the flames outside. Chilly, Tim.
So Dave, I'm gonna have Alex not notice this behavior, given that he's quite. So you can bring this in at any point, but you've established that connection now, so this is good. I'm actually what I'm going to do is because that's a good moment of role playing. I'm going to award you what we call an opportunity. So an opportunity, you can spend that at any point to change the world around you in a subtle way. Now, that might be something you want added to a scene. It might be something that I have introduced that you want to change slightly. So I might say this person does this, and you're like, well, actually, I would quite like them to do this. And you can spend that opportunity at any point. So you can change the world in a subtle way.
Okay. Just writing that down. Thank you very much.
So Alex continues explaining, and he's like, it's gotten to a point where something had to be done. We couldn't just, Guy and the outlaws couldn't just keep trying to take what they could from the soldiers and steal from the stores anymore. More of us had to make a stand. And they came here last week and they sat in the tavern with all of us, and we held a meeting, and they convinced 100 of us to stop paying our taxes.
Ooh.
Boy, that's
Oh, the 100. And
I don't suppose that went out down too well with powers that be.
So Alex shakes his head, and he's like, this morning, the sheriff's men came up the road. We know they must have gone out to some of the outer villages, because not all it wasn't all 100 of us here.
They did.
They did. Very much so on that road. There is the evidence. What happened to them?
So he kind of drops his head, and he kind of lets this long exhale of breath out, and he's like, you can hear him kind of praying under his breath. He's doing like a Hail Mary or something under his breath. And as he looks back up, he's like, they came this morning and they rounded up as many as they could find, and they put the houses to the torch. And then they marched the rest of us out into the square, anyone they could find. And they hanged two and dragged them off behind the horses. And he's really fighting back. He's kind of fighting back his tears now. And he said, and then once they left, we thought it was over. And then more soldiers came, and they set more fires, and they started attacking, and most people fled for the forest. and I started ringing the bells to try and keep people away.
You did a noble thing.
So he looks at Kez and he smiles and he's like, "This is my church. It might not be my name. It might not be, I might not be the priest, but this is my church and these are my people. And anything I can do to keep those people safe, I will do." And so he says, I have to stay here just in case anyone comes back. But he said, if you want to find the rest of them, they'll have headed for Major Oak.
Okay.
Right.
Based on,
I see Rep knows what Major Oak actually is.
That was two things. There's also the Major Oak. I was holding. You said general opportunity earlier. I was like, no, don't do that.
That's our running gag.
Hess will want to try and gather some provisions for himself, because if he intends on staying there, she'll want to make sure that he has sustenance to keep him going for as long as he
just check
can.
the bag. I've got like a couple of loaves of bread I can give him.
So I think in this case, that's a very lovely thing for Kez to do, and I'm going to award you an opportunity for that, T, because that's very much in the spirit of Gallows Corner of community solidarity. He will be able to take care of himself here. The church will have food stockpiled. He will have supplies that he can take care of himself. But I will award you an opportunity for good working class solidarity there.
Awesome. Thank you.
So he points you. He says, he says, Major Oak. That's the rally point. That's whenever we need to find the outlaws, that's where we go. And he kind of chuckles to himself and he's like, I don't think they'll be expecting as many as have gone, but if you want to catch up with them, they'll be heading southwest out into the trees. He said there's enough of them, you won't be able to miss them.
I think Tim will sort of wander or sort of meander back with his sweeping brush and sort of give everyone a nod to come outside. And if they do, Tim, obviously I know that this is obviously the game has to go in that direction. But Tim is the first thing in his mind is like, why are we even considering doing this?
They're cracking down on Mansfield. They'll be cracking down on the roads.
Well, that's fine. But we
maybe the outlaws
we pay
can
our
find a way.
taxes. They only cracked down on folks who didn't pay the taxes. So did you not see?
Do you pay your taxes, Tim?
I will not stand here and.
He's a legitimate businessman.
Yeah.
Only vouch for the fact that he is able.
He's a night soil man. He's in the sanitation business.
Yeah. Anyway, they're only after folks that don't pay the taxes. So we can slip out. Exit stage left, as it were.
This is going to be so.
More soldiers went out. I reckon more than 100 may have met their maker to this day.
What good was it? The four of us.
Also, the four of us had that little interesting bounty upon us from that misconfusion back up in York City.
Yeah, we're getting involved in this. Is only going to raise our profile higher. Then they're going to come after us.
All we're looking for is just get the outlaws to show us a way round, Like, come back in nearer down towards Essex way, and then we can head back and carry on our travel.
Right, so all right.
Just a through road and off the King's Road.
Tap a little bit on local knowledge so we can scooch around and miss the patrols. Oh, no.
What good's a cutthroat if you're not around to cut the right
throats?
Oh, no, listen. There's no easier throat to cut than one that's snoring.
At that,
Soldier's got to sleep.
Kess is just going to be watching this and then just lean forward and be like, why are you so scared of Tim? I've never known you to be fearful of anybody or anything.
Old Tim's like a curator. He brings people in to see the museum. Old Tim doesn't want to be in the museum. If you get what I'm saying. So...
so you're running from people.
No, I just
don't want to be an exhibit.
Yeah.
You don't want to exhibit yourself.
Exhibit A.
Mm-hmm.
You see, there's 3 letters in Tim, and there's 3 letters in
I can count.
There's 3 letters in RIP. So, old Tim doesn't want to die.
Simple as that. Yeah. Anyway,
Sure.
I like what you're saying, Clement. We go and you do the talking. We find a way around the patrols, and we get the fuck out of here.
We get that Major Oak. We say what needs to be said, and then we carry on about our business.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone got? Actually, old Tim's going to take out his dagger and he's going to give himself a haircut, real quick. And old Tim is very, very. It's been. And he'll kind of sniff one of the armpits and try and make it look like it's been a while since I've had a little bit of self-maintenance and self-care. And he's ooh, and he'll get, if there's a river, he'll go down and wash in it and wash all the dirt off, because he's always dirty. And he's going to cut the hair so he looks different, very different.
Okay, all right. I think we can say that there's probably like a water trough outside the market square. That'll do, right?
George,
So sus.
Yes.
Super sus.
perhaps unlikely, but on the off chance, Gareth is going to look for a smithy. He's going to look for the local smith, not the person, but the forge. On the off chance that they had recently made or repaired something that could be wielded in combat more effectively than a stick, if there was a spear or even just something that could be used. And failing that, we'll look for a sickle, a billhook, something that he could arm himself with.
I think it's reasonable that you would find some kind of tool, agricultural. A billhook works, agricultural tools. This is a market square. People are going to have been bringing food in and out. I think it's reasonable that you could find something you could arm yourself with that's slightly more dangerous than a quarterstaff.
I think what he might do then is, because I know
I was going to say,
take a scythe, and then if Kez could oblige him to, some people did, take the scythe and hammer the blade back into like a pike, which I believe some peasants did. If you were called to arms, that you might.
In this case, you'd have to have a forge that you could heat.
Oh, of course, we would have to.
Otherwise, it would just break.
It would break. That is true. That is true.
Could we find the local blacksmith's place?
So you can. So the forge would be somewhere around the market square. The chance of the forge being usable at this point is probably unlikely.
But there might be weapons.
Exactly. So I think you can find stuff. You could sharpen a billhook. You could find an old scythe. You could find something bladed. I think is reasonable that you could.
I think he'll go for He'll go for a billock.
Mm-hmm.
A billock and his bollock. Billock and bollocks is to.
Okay.
Writes itself.
Yes, and Kez, if you could sharpen it, please.
Yeah, that can do.
So,
get the whetstone.
With Tim freshly shorn and washed, and Gareth now feeling with Gareth feeling a bit more secure now. He's got a bladed item rather than just his quarterstaff, which maybe he's passed off to Clement, who's now carrying the quarterstaff with him. You head out southwest, out into the.
Can I say while they're doing that, Clement was actually checking how you get to Major Oak from here.
Yeah, that's a safe thing. So checking that in with Alex is a reasonable thing to have done. So you head southwest out of town, and you head deeper into the trees, and you're definitively off the road at this point. Like the road runs kind of straight south, and you're going off southwest into the trees. It doesn't take long to find who you're looking for. A stream turning into a river. People suffering bloody and broken, a single prayer on their lips. We need to find Guy. He'll help us. He has to. These people, refugees from their homes, cluster in small groups, families and neighbors keeping their eyes on one another, friends helping friends walk or offering to carry what little possessions they manage to salvage from Mansfield. But they move east. Sorry, I said southwest. I did mean to say southeast. They head east deeper into the trees as one, seeking safety in numbers and proximity. So there's probably, as you look through the tree, There's probably about 500 people. Some people in bigger groups than others. I think you lost me there for a second, so I'm back now. There are about 500 people spreading through the trees, walking east. Some are in bigger groups of 10s and 20s. Some are on their own. Some are in small family groups or whatever, people talking and helping their friends along. But these are people who are scared and afraid, and some of them are quite badly hurt. And a lot of them, in fact, all of them, don't really know what's happened to them or why this level of violence was brought down upon them for what they think was a valid and fair protest to make. These are going to be easily startleable people, but they are not. They don't seem actively hostile, and kind of as you join the back of the group, a couple of people give you kind of shifty looks, and you can hear them muttering under their breath, but no one is kind of actively hostile for you.
Kess will kind of keep an eye out for anybody who's struggling with anything that can be worked on by a blacksmith. So if they're like, oh, like this particular nail is come a bit loose, or this needs to be fixed a bit more secured, like Kess is just going to kind of, as they're walking around, just like dip in, hop for a bit, and then catch up with the rest too.
So I would say that what people are carrying here is going to be clothes and food and stuff, rather than anything that's kind of like within a blacksmith's expertise. But
so there's no wagons with wheels at all, no?
You are going through quite a thick bit of forest. Like you're not on a road here, yeah. So this is like, these are people. This is clearly like not a well-worn route. So you'd be very, very hard pressed to get a wagon through this, I think.
Grand. No worries.
But as you're moving around through, it's helping people get to know you a little bit, and they're kind of introducing themselves and asking who you are and where you've been from. So while Kez is doing that, Dave, what's Tim doing?
Sorry, yeah, if I could retcon something a little bit, I think in addition to Tim sort of altering his appearance, he would definitely have sort of gone house to house and try and find some presentable clothes, new clothes.
I think you could have looted one of the merchants' houses and picked up some some nicer garb. Elevate. So in 1376 we have what are called sumptuary laws. There are certain classes are only allowed to wear certain colors and types of fabric. So you have jumped a good few social ranks by appearance at the very least.
Excellent. I think
I was just imagining you like wearing something that you'd snatch from some other commoner's house and being like, "Oh, I've got that same cloak."
Yeah, pretty much. So I think Tim. Sorry, I think once it was Tim, who's now Timothy. We'll walk up to the back of the line and see like an old woman sort of, carrying a bundle, and you go, "Oh, my dear, allow me to help you shoulder the burden."
So she lifts her head up and she looks at you, and there's a kind of panic in her eyes as she catches your clothes, and she tugs her forelock at you, and she's like, "Oh, sir, no, I couldn't possibly impose on you to do something like that." She has looked at you and has seen someone a good few social ranks higher than she is, and this has unsettled her.
I think I'll give her a wink though.
I think all right. Here's right. Let's put it this way. Tim is being tested on his ability to make this a friendly and convincing wink, rather than the wink a merchant would normally give to a lower class woman.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I need to do, is there a roll here?
Yes.
Okay, what do I need to...
The literous
I
wink
need to
of solicitation.
really go with emotional. I have my thing. What is the thing I had? Do what needs to be done. Many people think that taking a life... So let's not go there just yet.
We don't want to have to kill this woman.
No, not yet. So I guess... all I can think of is just to roll the intellectual dice then.
I think it's emotional in this one. I think it's
emotional. Okay, no problem. Right? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's what I went with.
So we're going to see. It's all going to come down to this to see how this woman responds to this wink.
It's a 5.
It's a 5. That's a success. Okay, so you have communicated with this wink that you are not as you appear to be.
Yes.
And this woman she's reassured by the fact that you're not coming onto her in that kind of the way the powerful are exploiting the poor kind of
Absolutely
way.
not.
You know, that's good. She's happy about that.
Yeah.
What she does do, as what you notice though, is as you give her this wink and she realizes you're not who she thought you were, she looks around the crowd and she starts, you notice, and maybe this is a subconscious thing, she starts to look around and she's looking at people who she seemingly doesn't recognize. And as you follow her gaze, you see one and then two and then maybe a third person, all within, I was about to say, I was normally say earshot, but these are within eye shot of one another. They can all see each other. And you catch a little glimpse. One of them has got a longbow slung over one of them. I think you lost me for a minute. One of them has got a longbow slung over their shoulder. This is a very common weapon for peasants to have. Everyone has to practice 2 hours every Sunday. It's a very common thing for people to have. One of them, though, you get just as someone knocks past him, you see him kind of put his hand down to his side, and you see very briefly the outline of a sword. Now, you will know that a sword is an incredibly expensive weapon.
Okay.
And I think
these are not people don't just have swords.
No, and would it, George? Would it? Maybe it's a misconception. Would it be, in most cases, almost illegal for, like, if a random,
for a commoner or a peasant to be carrying a sword would be considered highly irregular, if not illegal. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the assumption would be anyway they don't have permission.
Exactly. So, but you're not sure if it is a sword, but it looks like the outline of a bladed weapon.
Has only Tim? I suppose only Tim
has seen this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think basically what Tim is trying to do here is, sort of let her know that, somebody, that he's pretending to be somebody he's not. B, he is who he is, and C, like, I think it's important to him that he help her, and only Tim knows that this is all manipulation. That he just wants to sort of, appear valuable to the group, so they think, oh, hey, this guy's got the skills to pay the bills, and we should sort of bring him into the inner circle.
Okay, so this would be the wrong woman to talk to for the inner circle, I think. But
it's just the start of it.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you are
the way in.
My question would be, is given that, so I think this interaction with this woman is fine enough, right? Yeah. She's kind of grateful. She hands over what little she's the thing that was weighing her down to pass it over to Tim. I suppose what I want to know is what is Tim going to do with the information that he has gained?
I think, well, first off, he's going to start pressing her quietly for information. And just, because he doesn't want to meet Guy, and he wants to make sure that sort of he can, that's the main motivation there. But B, he also wants to find out what the fuck's going on, and just so he can be prepared. Like, preparation is key for him. But I think he'll make a bird song noise or something like that, and try and catch Kess's eye, and if Kess looks over, he'll just sort of do a little point with the head, and sort of draw Kess's attention to
the sword.
What's going on? Because I think Kess of all people would be probably better equipped to recognize the outline of the sword.
Yeah, that would definitely figure. I mean, Gareth probably would get a good sense of it as well. But so let's say at the moment we've got a split party. Gallows Corner is fine with split parties. You are in the same proximate area, but we've got two sets of communication going on. So Kez and Tim have communicated. They are now both aware of the presence of these people in the flow of these 500. Clement and Gareth, what are you guys doing in this situation?
Well, actually, to that point, I was thinking that Gareth, when we sort of reach Major Oak and we look, he is looking for Guy. Obviously, he doesn't know what this guy. looks like. And actually, what he was going to be doing was looking around scanning the crowd for people that look like they can handle themselves. Maybe the people that are maybe more martial, like someone with the bow, somebody that looks like they're carrying themselves, somebody that's has the kind of look about, that he would see as a guard on duty. Maybe somebody who is also looking, scanning the edges, and I think would have also, maybe with Clement, unless Clement wants to do something else, to sort of say he knows Clement has a very good eye as well, picking through. He's got a keen eye for detail to see if he can see anybody, because maybe somebody that's the treasure in the trap, maybe somebody that's pretending to be, meek when they're not.
Okay, Dave.
Sorry, no, I was just reacting to what Ben said. Just because
that's
exactly what Tim is doing. My apologies.
Got you. Okay, so all right, so Clement, are you in with this? Are you and Gareth?
I think Clement is walking alongside Gareth, but this is now the third time that Clement has had to leave somewhere as a result of what the nobility have done for something as far as he's concerned, he hasn't done. And he's just actually been a bit more effective. Normally he'd be checking through, going, they're worth a bit more, I can sell with them. And he's kind of idly doing that, but in the back of his head, he's kind of going, I'm getting real fed up of being pushed out of where places I go to because someone higher up is having a bit of a bad morning. So he's kind of actually been a bit more introverted. He's not properly
got you. So he's right. So he's
actually
looking,
I'm getting
quite internal.
Yeah, he's getting quite irate at the fact that he keeps being pushed out of places.
I think Gareth would know he won't press him.
Yeah.
Okay. He'll let him. Could I with the test for, I suppose, searching to see if I can see if I see anybody, just see if there's anybody armed, or looks like a guard. I suppose that'd be intellectual, I'd imagine.
So I was going to say, so what this is going to be a bit of a turning point here. So we are about to find out so above the table, because I think this is an interesting point. Above the table, there is no fixed outcome for who these people are. It is up to you guys essentially to decide. So either there would have been a point had you not said what you just said, there would have been a point at which I've said, right, I'd have picked on one of you and said, who are these people? You tell me, and then we go for that. However, Ben, you've kind of preempted that in a really useful way. So we're going to decide who these people are based on the outcome of this test. Ben, Gareth is being tested on his ability to see, to discover armed people in the crowd. So how are you building that dice pool?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to. I can't argue for physical, which is higher. I can't see how really I could argue for physical. So, I suppose intellectual to spot them. And then his trade, I suppose, the body. He's looking at how are these people carrying themselves. He knows the body language, the gait of a I mean, the gait of somebody who's maybe got a sword on their hip, or is concealing a dagger. And then, his job, servant as a, I know we have it down as footman, but as the household guard. Certainly if somebody is openly a guard, they'd be easy to spot that it's like, oh, they're clearly the people that are walking the perimeter, keeping people safe. Or possibly, he doesn't know when people are going to come bursting through the trees on a horse, but he's maybe not necessarily looking for that.
I think you can definitely justify servant here in a number of ways. So you are used to seeing things. You're used to reading people's body language as a servant, right? You need to anticipate what people are going to want and who they're going to, what they're going to say to you and what they're going to do. So I think you can definitely justify the job. Yeah. So we've definitely got into
how someone of a certain station would carry themselves. Exactly. I suppose. Yeah, how are they approaching? Is somebody approaching me like they look like they belong here? Like they're walking in like they have an appointment, or is somebody, maybe trying not to be noticed?
Yeah, I get you. All right, so we've definitely got intellectual. We've definitely got the body as the trade. We've definitely got servant. Did you advocate for a physical role as well?
Oh, I mean, Not
I mean,
for
I
my
think
own.
there's-
I mean,
there's- I
if
think
it could
there's
be applied
room.
to their physicality.
I think you are trying to do this without being discovered yourself, right? So I think you could definitely bring physical in. So I would say you could do physical, intellectual, trade, and job.
Okay.
Without being too obvious. Well, thank you very much. Very generous. Very, very generous, my lord.
Thank you.
Oh, well, I needed that. Well, okay, so I got 1 5 on the D6 and I got an 8 on the D8. So I've got pass.
Right. So Gareth sees, maybe Gareth is a bit further up the column of people than Tim and Kez were, and sees this seeming chain of people dotted throughout, up and down. There's probably 6 or 7 people you can see, all of whom appear to be armed, all of whom appear to be in visual contact with one another. Ben, who are these people? Where have they come from? What is their purpose here? And whatever you say is what we go for here. So you have,
I know what's more narratively interesting, which is that, would you say 6?
6 people, yeah.
Which is that, and if we can stop them, might ingratiate us with the guy if they're waiting, either if they're lying in wait. I think these are 6 of the sheriff's men who have slipped in, especially since one of them was armed, that have slipped into the column to try and find this major oak that they keep hearing about, waiting, which they flushed out the rats as they saw it, smoked them out, knowing that they would lead them to Guy.
I was hoping you'd say that. Okay,
Come on,
all right. Here is the situation.
Sharpen this bullock for nothing.
I am going to start a clock. This clock has 4 segments. I'm not going to tell you what the title of the clock is. I'm just going to tell you that it has 4 segments. We remain a split party. There is enough. You are within shouting distance of one another, so you're not fully split, but you are not. We've got essentially 2 groups. We have Gareth and Clement slightly further up, and then we have Kez and Tim towards the back. You have identified the fact that there are armed men who are, at least they're hiding their arms. At least the ones with swords are hiding their arms. In and amongst this crowd. The clock ticks for the first time as you see one of the Tim and Kez. You see that the guard, this person with the bow slung over their back, who's just been walking along nice and fine, drops the bow off their shoulder and starts to carry it down at their side. It's getting really, really hot now. It's about 1 or 2 in the afternoon. It's really, really warm. It's like the height of summer. And people in the column are starting to they're starting to slow down and get sluggish. And there seems to be a general sense of impatience amongst the crowd. Kez and Tim, what are you doing?
Kez would have done what they were doing pretty consistently, just kind of going from group to group until they were close enough to the person who Tim identified as having the sword. And they're not standing like right on them, so they're like close enough that if they did make a move with the sword, that Kez would be able to essentially get them with their hammer.
Okay, all right. So Kez has maybe slipped the hammer into a nice convenient spot on her belt, right? Something she could brandish out quickly if needs be. And Tim, what's Tim doing here?
Okay, Tim's going to take a chance here. Am I right? No, not me. Okay, Tim's going to take a chance here. So Tim's going to follow Kez, and he's going to take a chance and hope that the person with the sword will instinctively reach to help Kez once Tim shoves her with his shoulder, and she sort of looks like she's about to stumble.
Oh no.
And then if Kez stumbles, so this is kind of a weird skill for assassins, and I'm trying not to use it in a broken way, but it says
Well, there's no broken in Gallows Corner because everything's narrative, so we all work it out anyway. There's no such thing as balance. Doesn't exist in a 3 sales game.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I'm not going to use like do what needs to be done. So with your skills, they just succeed, right?
Yeah, but you only have one of them.
Okay, well, I'm not going to use this in a boss battle because it would be stupid. Do it needs to be done.
So when I say you only have one of them, of the 4 that are on that job sheet.
Sorry, yes,
choose
yeah.
one of them. Yeah. You can use it as many times.
Not
as you
one
want.
use.
Okay, so what I'm hoping to do is use do what needs to be done. Many people think that they could take a life situation. Corporate, many of them are wrong. You know what it takes to end a person's life and can act without hesitation when you must. So as this person reaches for Kez to maybe sort of, oh hey, help them up. It's just a real quiet draw of the blade across the neck and just slide around the tree with them and sit them behind the tree so nobody sees and keep walking.
All right. Okay. All right. So what I would have done was obviously I would have given you a test on that, but given the fact that you and Kez were in visual/vocal contact with one another and have been kind of communicating surreptitiously, I think we can say that what happens is Tim walks alongside Kez and just gives Kez a look, kind of an inquisitive, like a direct look. Kez moves in front of the guard because if you're behind him, this is not going to be seen. Yeah. Kez moves in front. Tim cuts across. Kez trips, looks to help, looks up to this bloke who looks down, and Kez, you get a glimpse. This man is very clearly carrying a sword. And this is Castle Forge steel. This is Castle Forge steel. You can tell because this is your job. And you also get a little glint of chainmail underneath this shirt. This is a heavily armed man. And as you trip and as you go to reach your hand out, you just see Tim head down, slash across this man's neck, and put an arm under the other guy's arm and just marches him off into the trees. And then 30, 40 seconds later, as you've carried on walking, Tim just comes straight back out of the trees and locks back in with marching step with you.
Question. Primarily for Tim, would Tim have grabbed his sword?
If he thinks that Kez could use it, yeah, maybe it would be wrapped up in like his cloak or something like that. The guy's cloak.
Don't think Kez is practicing with the Castle Forge swords after hours.
Well, I have to make sure that they work.
Kez doesn't want it. This is not Kez's bag. Kez isn't he doesn't know how to use a sword. He knows how to use tiny swords. Yeah, he'll if that's something that I think is allowable, then
it's absolute, mate.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Yeah. We don't have rules for weapons, right? What we do have is your physical dice will go up and down based on what you have at the time. So, for example, if you were to put on a full suit of plate armor, incredibly, it's like a year's salary for a common person. That's going to put your physical dice up. But it's not going to put it up to a D12 from a D6 because you don't know how to fight in it. So it's going to put you up to a D8, right?
It was more that Tim hadn't thought of that until Kez said it. I'm sort of.
I think it's
absolutely that's okay.
I think it's absolutely reasonable that someone like Tim would have been like, "I'm fucking having that," even if it's going to be to sell it on afterwards.
Yeah.
All right. So one of these guards has been dispatched, and we tick the clock again as we jump over to Clement and Gareth. What you notice? So as the clock ticks, you notice that this visual contact. These people are checking in with each other pretty routinely, right? They're looking from one person to another to check in. And suddenly, as part of this check going on, one looks around and this person isn't obviously, they've not got a bow. It doesn't look like they're carrying a sword from what you can see, but they're moving like they are wearing added protection, things that are well beyond what anyone in this crowd would reasonably have. And as this man looks back, he sees that someone in the chain is missing and he frantically snaps around and you hear him. There's like you see him like whistling and just moving his fingers in front of his lips. And it sounds like a bird call, but you can see up the chain, this whistle is starting to spread further and further up the chain. What are Gareth and Clement going to do in this moment?
Gareth had the idea. Now that we've already noticed that one of them is gone, McGann away. Gareth is going to point eastward as he sees, just pointed towards the trees. Gareth points and then just shouts. He says, "Brothers, sisters," he says, "look in the trees to the east. 'Tis Guy."
So, all right.
Oh,
Let's
wow.
work out how we're going to do this. Ben, Gareth is being tested on his ability to sell this deception to someone, to the crowd.
Yeah.
What build your dice pool? How is Gareth trying to do this?
I don't know. Well, look, we've got emotional, certainly. I can't really argue for the body, except maybe body language, but that's not really the trade of the body.
No, I don't think so. But I do think you could add your physical dice in here, right? Because you're trying to make yourself loud and heard and obvious, right?
Could it? I think I might try argue. Oh no, sorry.
You can't add your job without having the trade in.
I can't add my job unless I had the trade. Yep.
Yeah.
Go for it. Yeah, he's gonna. Well, they're either gonna fall for his bluff and sort of draw, bows or weapons on the tree line, or they're going to attack Gareth. So this is physical and emotional. Oh, 5 and a 6.
Oh, you guys are rolling hot today. Okay, so this might seem coincidental, but as you shout that and you point and everyone starts looking to the trees, and Clement, you see these people that have been identified as our men. You see them start reaching into cloaks and kind of making themselves ready, and nothing happens for about 10 seconds. And then some people are like, people have gone from excited and a little bit nervous to kind of looking around at Gareth and being like, who the fuck is this guy? What the hell is he going on about? And then suddenly, out of the trees, as if from nowhere, 5 people, armed, bloody, and panting, burst through the foliage. Some in the crowd scream and turn to run, but a call rises up from those closest to the interlopers. You hear one of them say, "Rose, thank God it's you. What's going on? Where's Guy and the rest?" And this river of refugees brings themselves to a halt, and they make a channel, opening up a channel for a woman with a red hood and red hair underneath to walk through, followed by 4 men, one being supported by 2 of the others and bleeding heavily. And Clement, you can see now that, and Gareth as well. Gareth is probably like surprised that his ruse has actually happened, so is maybe paying more close attention. But the rest of you notice that these people you've been trailing are now moving closer and closer towards this woman with the red hood, and they're moving with purpose.
If it's possible to try it, like to stick close to them.
Yeah, Kez is very much going to. When you say moving with purpose, are they moving with like? Is there any sort of animosity kind of moving?
They are moving with intent. Let's call it that, rather than moving with purpose.
So Kez is going to start moving towards these armed figures. Like now that they've seen that there's a few of them, I'm pretty sure Kez would know how somebody would move if they were laden down by some armor and weapons. Yeah. And Kez is going to start kneecapping people with their hammer.
Whoa!
So Kez is just going straight for it. Kez is going straight for violence. All right,
Gareth
loves
Kez and Gareth, he was going to try and cut the back of their calves with the pillow.
All right, so here's what's going to happen. This might end up in a combat situation. It might end up in a mechanical combat situation. But the way in Gallows Corner, so you will all see on your character sheets that you have these diamonds, right? These combat diamonds. So at the top, you have standing on the 90 degrees round clockwise. You have knocked back 90 degrees further round. You have down 90 degrees round. From that, you have retreating or dead. Combat works with opposed physical dice rolls, and you knock someone round that diamond, basically. However, we have not actually officially entered that part of combat yet because of this inventive gameplay. So what we can do is combat can start or end or be interrupted with tests. Now, what you are both trying to do here is get the drop on these people, right? Yeah. One of them's already been taken care of. There's 5 more in the crowd. Two of them are about to potentially get shanked from behind. Well, one of them's about to get kneecapped, and the other one's about to have his tendons cut. And then I'm assuming quickly finished off after that.
That's
so
actually that was those were our nicknames back in the household. It was kneecap and shank.
Kneecap and shank, yeah. So both of you, both Kez and Gareth, are being tested on their ability to incapacitate these people.
Mm-hmm.
Build your dice pools for me.
Right. Okay.
T.
Whew. So I think
I mean, some people say a kneecap is quite like an anvil.
you know, it could just
It's whether
move
we
the
can
wrong
get
way.
Now, I could go for blacksmith. I could absolutely get there, but the question is whether you can justify the market, right? Can you justify seeing the world as a series of buying and selling and giving and taking and transactions?
Oh, absolutely. It's transactional. They took lives. So, yeah, they took. So they can give it back.
That is the outlaw. That's the outlaw that I love right there, T. Thank you so much. Okay, so you are definitely rolling physical, right? We're definitely doing
crushing
a
forces of the market.
Absolutely.
Are it's the crushing logic
album.
of the market, yeah. Any others? Can you bring intellectual or emotional into this, do you think?
I think I could. So intellectually, Kez would be looking at what would reduce their ability to hurt other people. So by going for the knee, that means they can't walk further and hurt the others around, the innocent bystanders. And emotionally, they're going to remember, first of all, the priest, but they're also going to remember each of those bodies that they saw hanging along the way.
Yeah.
So they're going to be so angry that they got outlawed when these are the true criminals.
And then we're bringing the market in because this is you are taking back what has been taken, right? You're evening the scales, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Equivalent exchange.
Excellent. And then definitely you can bring your job in because you're a blacksmith about to use a hammer to break someone's knees, right?
And that is my baby. Her name is Sheila.
All 5 dice. But no, very good. That's all 5 dice. This is a very rare opportunity that we get to have someone roll all 5 of their dice. Before you do that, Gareth, build your dice pool for me?
Well, physical.
Yeah.
Trade for the body, and then the job of the just the training with the pole weapon, this like his spear, doing his job of hurting somebody when. Well, it used to be on people's orders, but now
I'm gonna call you up on this one, and I'm gonna tell you no for that, and here's why. Because in the body is another trade, which is another job, which is soldier.
Soldier, that is correct. Now, yeah, that's true.
I love the fact that you are playing a servant who has done guard duty and stuff like that, but in this specific context, I would say that was more fitting of the soldier job than the servant job.
That makes sense.
In this case,
to be fair, he did not do a lot of. There was not a lot of action.
He's done a lot of standing and drills, right? But the actual killing, yeah.
I will take then the physical, the body. Now I don't want to. I was thinking emotional myself, but I won't step on the same reason as T did. But I will go for emotional. That he's looking at these men. Sworn men to some, some higher, a man higher than them on the ladder, and to some sort of, pretense of some kind of oath or something. And he's looking at them here and what they're about to do, and what they did to these people. And he remembers how when his lord, when his friend did, struck Gareth's sister, that young lord's own dirty little secret lover. None of the other guards, none of these other good men, they did anything. They stood by like dutiful little guard dogs, and that was it. So
All right. So not only am I going to allow the emotional, but I'm also going to give you an opportunity, because that is excellent use of bringing your backstory into justify a dice roll. So you're going to get an opportunity as well. T, roll me your dice pool first, please.
Nice.
Fuck, I lost one.
Gotta be a 5 in there somewhere.
Okay. So, Okay, I'll roll. So I got a 6, 5, 5, a 2, and a 4.
Okay, well, this game doesn't do degrees of success, but if it
Mhm.
did, you would be knocking that man to Venezuela with that hammer blow, I think.
Yay!
T, describe to me how this man is kneecapped and what you do with him once he's on the ground.
Oh, beautiful. So I am okay, I promise. So Kez is going to be like kind of walking alongside them, and as they see these, like, essentially they kind of seem, imagine like hyena kind of like converging on prey. So like as this happens, they're gonna kind of move, like pretend that, oh no, I'm helpless, you know, feigning that they're innocent. And as one of the stragglers walks by them, they're just going to like casually just pop out their hammer, and you're gonna see it's gonna come from the hip, so it's a full swing across.
Ooh.
And as that happens, there's going to be a very audible crack, and that person's going to go down. And as they're going down, they're going to go for another hit under the chin and up.
Oh, okay. So as he's coming down like a falling tree, you're bringing that hammer back up and clocking him in the jaw. Okay. I mean, I think it's so. As this happens, Kez is revealed to the crowd and the onlook and these newcomers who've come in, this woman in her red hood and the rest of the people. Kez is revealed to these people through a spray of blood and teeth that this man spits out as he falls to the ground. He was, as he was falling, letting out this yelp of this howl of pain, but that's very quickly ended as his life vanishes from his eyes before he even hits the floor. Ben, roll me your dice.
Okay, 5 and an 8. So.
Okay, explain to me how Gareth cuts the back of this man's legs and what he does with him once he hits the ground.
I mean, of course, Bill, we're gonna go slash if you can get both. Get the Achilles tendons, just cut. If you can get through the boots, just cut him down so he just falls. And then because he might have to fight someone else, and he knows that guy's not getting up yet, he is going to just put a foot on his spine, and then sort of,
jump,
put the pike out to the next one. And he says, time for you to spend a bit of time in the dirt for a change.
I love the action hero. The action hero line is always a good one. That's very nice. Yeah. All right, Rhett, I'm assuming that Clement has been bought out of his insular reverie by the actions.
Yeah, so I think I'm actually going to use his skill on this one.
Okay.
His skill is true value. You have an eye for value, and not all that glimmers is gold. Whether it's a crooked merchant trying to swindle you or scrap dealer playing you for a fool, you can pay something's true value on site. And I work the he sees these two go down, and he clocks immediately the quality of 4 different other cloaks.
Yeah.
And he can't reach all of them, so he's instead going to draw himself up and use the staff to point them out to the crowd, calling out, "Got interlopers, sheriff's men among us."
Oh.
Okay, all right. So you can the skill absolutely works for you to identify and point these people out. Clement is being tested on his ability to bring the crowd along with him here.
Yes. So emotional, of course.
Yeah.
Intellectual, because he's got to read this very quickly, and be able to kind of work out what words he has to say to appeal to a crowd of many people he doesn't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that also applies to his trade, because he has to know to make quick decisions on the fly to say the right thing in order to get the outcome he requires.
Trying to get a crowd to do what you want. Yeah, I think that, or at least individuals to do what you want. I would say, like, the mask is more for crowds, but yeah, I think you could use the market in this.
Yeah, I don't think I can claim picker on this.
I don't think you can. No.
And physical, I don't think applies in this instance.
But three dice is good for this.
It's good. I'm imagining I'm imagining Clement doing this, like he's like an auctioneer.
Yeah, he's
over here. Sheriff's been over here.
literally going, yep, that one there.
All
Do I
in
have
for
one? I have
one.
two, three interlopers.
So that is a 4, a 4, and a 5. Wow.
Ooh. You guys haven't failed a roll yet, so I was above the table.
This is Soul Muppet going. Thank you, Soul Muppet, for their Doom Spiral dice.
Above the
not seen
table
that symbol yet.
when I first ran Gallows Corner, the first 2 play tests, the group was rolling like you guys were, rolling really, really hot. And I was like, maybe I've made this too easy. And then the next 3 groups I ran it for were just really struggling.
Oh no.
So I feel like it balances out.
I think we struggled
time.
the last game I played in this
Yeah,
one.
you did. So you're getting cosmic justice is coming back to you for this one. Okay, so this crowd suddenly looks to this man who's pointing out these people who are very clearly moving with ill intent. And actually, as the crowd turn to look at them, and as these new people, these seemingly armed outlaws, look across the crowd, these men realize they're going for broke, and all 3 of the ones that are left draw swords out. 2 of them draw swords, and 1 is notching their bow. As you look around, as Clement is looking around the crowd, he sees a man, one of the men that arrived with the woman in the red hood, who was, you heard the crowd call her Rose. As quick as you've ever seen, you see this man level a bow with an arrow in it, draw it, and this arrow sails straight into the other archer's throat, straight through. The guy drops to the ground like a sack of shit. The 2 with swords, the crowd... Initially, the crowd have been like, they've jumped back in horror and fear. They've seen too much violence today. But a number among them suddenly discover that their spines have got steel in them, and that this is an opportunity for them to, in some small way, take some revenge.
A little bit of justice.
The crowd, and enough, probably 20 people around each of these other 2 blokes, just swarm onto both of them. And at the 4 of you, as you look and see what's happening, you see people picking up sticks, they're snapping branches off trees, some people have picked up rocks, and they beat these soldiers to death right there in front of them. And this is obviously...
Garrett still has this one chap alive. With
okay, that's fine.
Him, and he's trying to kind of keep people away. He's like, got him. Keep one alive.
Okay, so as after this frantic scene breaks down, you hear the woman in the red hood whistle through her fingers, and this whistle pierces out through the trees, and people stop and brush themselves down and look around to her, and she shouts out, "Friends, we set out after Elias and his men as soon as we heard he'd taken prisoners. Guy had us set an ambush, but Nottingham scouts found us first." And she walks over to where Gareth is, takes one look at Gareth, looks down at this guy, draws a knife and just stabs it straight through the back of this man's neck. And the look she gives you brooks no argument here. Like, it was, I mean, I think she could understand the value in keeping these people alive.
Oh, it was for them, really. It's like if they wanted to question anyone, but it's like, fair, okay, clearly if he's of no value, then yeah.
So she finishes this guy off, and she stands back up and she looks around, and she's addressing the 4 of you as much as she's addressing the rest of the crowd now, because she's seen what you've done. And she kind of chokes back a sob, and she's like, "He's been taken, him and the others. We fled back into the woods when we realized we were outnumbered, and we came looking for you. We lost the others, but thank God we found you. We're heading to Major Oak. Laura will know what to do." And so as she delivers this, the scene fades to black, and it picks back up about an hour and a half later. It started to get maybe 2 or 3 hours later, let's call it that. It started to get towards evening at this point. For a few miles you've walked near the front of the refugees seeking shelter deeper in the forest. You've heard them speak about Sherwood, the sheriff, about Guy and the outlaws. Not all the talk about Guy has been positive, but actions speak too. In their time of need, it is into the arms of the outlaws rather than the law that these people have turned. The sun is low now, setting behind you, and the golden hour has come to the greenwood. Ahead, torchlight picks out a route you wouldn't have found otherwise. And then, just 100 yards ahead, a clearing and the largest oak tree you've ever seen. Major Oak, the woman in red says, appearing beside you, our hideout for years. Around the tree, you see cloaks and blankets propped up into makeshift tents and even a few hammocks up in the branches. Laura, Rose shouts, waving her hand over her head. We've brought visitors. A woman, her right arm bandaged, looks up, her brown hair plastered to her forehead with sweat. She gives a small smile filled with relief that doesn't quite disguise the worry she feels on seeing so many in need. Glad you made it, Rose, she says. Let's get you looked over. So you are, it's getting dark. It's in the evening now. You've got the last of the sunlight kind of setting towards you. And Major Oak is what it sounds like. It is an absolutely massive oak tree. And this is like a rallying point for these people. And like, you know, there's a lot of people still coming in, a lot of people still following. And there's kind of a makeshift camp that's been set up here. And I'm going to elide just a little bit of this in the interest of time, because I know we're obviously on stream and we have a slightly limited time, and I want to make sure we can stage this final part of this act. But so we're going to elide a little bit of time. We're going to say that you have been introduced. You've been introduced to these. You are now meeting the Greenwood Outlaws, right? Or what's left of them at the very least. The woman that found you in the woods, her name is Red Rose. Her name is Rose Akelum, but they call her Red Rose because she's got red hair and she wears a red hood. And you've been introduced to Laura of Loudham, Lucky Laura of Loudham, they call her. This is the woman with a kind of bandaged right arm and her hair plastered across her. And there's a couple of other outlaws dotted around. You've got handsome Hannah Lucas, who is an absolute bear of a woman. Drew the Dirk, who you hear people calling Short Straw for his bad luck. Naked Nella Sharp, who got her name by running from the sheriff's men who disturbed her in bed, naked and laughing. And the man who dropped the guard with the bow is Ivo Ebson, who is an archer second only to Guy himself. And then finally, you have Godfrey Greenstride, who is the best forester and tracker this side of the Pennines. So these are the people that you've been introduced to, and you are sat down now at dusk, and you are sat down around a fire with some sense of safety restored. The refugees begin to settle, cooking and sharing whatever they managed to bring with them with those who couldn't. If you didn't know better, this could have been the night before a festival, but you do know better. What happened, Rose? What did you see? And where did they take Guy? Laura asks. The outlaws sat at the base of the tree listening in. They got the drop on us, Law. I don't know how, but they caught us on the green paths as we tried to get ahead of the prisoner escort. We killed a few, sure, but they did too. And Guy gave himself up to give us time to escape the fall. She stifles a sob. We have to go back for him. And we will, Laura says, but not tonight. We'll set out before dawn and see what we can find. They won't kill him quick. The sheriff will want as many people as possible to see him hang. We just need to get there before he drops. And we'll need help, she says, looking your way. I feel like if you guys want to take like a couple of 5-minute break at this point, I feel like just before we start this last little bit, everyone can go get a drink and stuff like that.
Good.
Everyone
Sounds
happy
perfect.
with that?
Absolutely.
See you guys soon.
Right.
See you in 5 minutes, chat. Thank you
You
very
too.
much. The revolution. And welcome back in. Before we pick off, I'd like to give our thanks to our techno mistress, It's a Map, who you can hear cackling in the background, fights to keep the gremlins from our stream doors. Down below, you will see a Tip the Technomancer button if you wish to help us to continue to present these stories to and with and for you. Moreover, do check out her work on her own maps, which you can sometimes see on streams here, and which you can certainly see and get commissioned from her if she's taking them over on her social links. And as part of our monthly offerings on our Patreon, the Emerald Collection releases a themed map, monster and magic item every month, and higher tiers gives you access to things like commissions with It's a Map, and also to artist Liz Shangave, who does the artwork for the Patreon when she's not rocking the trombone with band My Son the Hurricane. You'll also get early access to our ongoing podcasts. The latest episode of The Violet Madness will be releasing to our Patreon supporters this Wednesday coming, with friend of the channel Mark Corrigan of Shonut Games in the GM's chair. It's not the GM in Call of Cthulhu. No, wrong. Mixing them up. Sorry, I'm reading the wrong ones. It is GM chair. It's D&D. Even without the early access, I'll catch back up and we'll make more sense in a second. Without the early access, our podcasts are available on most of the expected channels, not Spotify, but most of the other expected channels, with both the fancy quest to rid the land of a magical disease and with the Call of Cthulhu campaign set in Ireland in 1919. No silver linings. And if any budding keepers want to run that particular campaign for their own party of investigators, it's available right now at drivethroughrpg.com. Complete with discount if you're a Patreon subscriber.
And it's terrifying.
It is absolutely terrifying, as is the prequel era of the Body Snatchers that is also available, which I've been able to read, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that party of investigators go through it. I believe they've already recorded the campaign. I'm just waiting to release that.
There's another one.
And
Bodies
there
of
are
water.
more campaigns.
I was going to say, I signed up. I saw Mark is running an island set, one at Athcon, and I'm like, oh, he's got another adventure.
We did 7 episodes of Bodies of Water down in a lighthouse in. We rented a lighthouse on Loop Head, the westernmost point of Ireland, and we recorded 7 episodes of a terrifying Call of Cthulhu. I did not sleep.
Oh, good. Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Mark Corrigan is our resident eldritch entity. You should go to him for all your scariness on those things. And if you want to catch up on that first thing, if you can give it a podcast, or you can go to our YouTube where the entire playlist is there. And tonight's Jeweler tier patron shout out is to Lisa Marie, who is a wonderful member of our community, and we love seeing how much you get involved on our Discord. I think that's all there is from me. George, bring us back into the revolution.
All right, back we go to 1376. It is the next morning. The first light of dawn lights the leaves of the canopy above you. Its lazy warmth yet to catch up. In the gloom, those members of the Greenwood Outlaws able to keep watch. Sorry, I've completely tripped myself up there. In the gloom, those members of the Greenwood Outlaws able to fight keep watch, with one you can't quite make out stifling a yawn. Laura's voice, thick with whispers, reaches you as she talks hurriedly with a young man dressed in forester's green. Where did you see them, Ben? What did you hear them say? Exactly now, lad. Don't skip nothing. Resignation dripping from his voice, this boy Ben tells Laura that the tax refusers and Guy were brought through here last night on their way to the castle jail. The tax refusers will be tried and hanged in a few weeks' time, but Guy was declared guilty on the spot and is set to be hanged at noon today. God keep those poor people down in the dark, Laura says, but we can deal with them later. It's Guy we need to save if we don't want his neck stretched at noon. So, everyone, I am about to start a clock. This clock has 6 segments. This clock is titled Guy is Hanged. I can see
no
the
pressure
stress.
or anything.
The stress is getting to Ben already. Okay, so
I love it.
Guy of the Greenwood is due to be hanged in 4 hours' time. You have this opportunity to stage a daring rescue. If you fail, Guy will die. Now, this clock has got 6 segments. The first 4 ticks of this clock are going to mark an hour each, an hour from now. So it's 8 p.m. now, 8 a.m. now at noon. Noon today, Guy is going to be hanged. The stool will be kicked out from underneath him, or the trapdoor will be opened on the gallows. You are currently stood on the edge of Sherwood Forest. To your south, not too far away, maybe 500-600 meters, you can see the castle. You can see the city walls of Nottingham. In front of the city walls flows the River Trent. In between you and the river is Hanging Hill. And on Hanging Hill is the gallows that Guy is said to be hanged on. You can see, they're probably about 300 meters away from where you are. You can see out down the hill, down your like Hanging Hill is a kind of like, you are up here in the edge of the forest. It goes gently down like this. Here's Hanging Hill, and then it goes down towards the city, right? You can see on Hanging Hill around the gallows, you can see about 3 or 4 soldiers. They look like they've been there all night. They look pretty tired. They're not particularly alert. Ben, the forester boy who's in the forest with you, tells you that uniformed soldiers from Nottingham have been seen patrolling the borders of the forest. They are clearly expecting the remnants of the Greenwood Outlaws to stage some kind of rescue for Guy. They have been patrolling the edge of the forest overlooking the city. Ben also tells you that the executioner, the city executioner, lives out here in the forest, somewhere off to your west, out in a clearing. We have a new member of the revolution join us, I see.
Show me the baby.
But yeah, so that's the information that you have. You have 4 hours until the hanging is set to occur. You know that there are uniformed soldiers patrolling the forest. You know that the executioner lives somewhere in the forest just off to your west, and you can see that there are that the gallows in between you and the city is lightly guarded at the moment. What do you do? Now, bear in mind, I will be ticking this clock if you take too long to make your plans. The clock will tick and the world changes around you. So in Gallows Corner, we have like a very specific, every time the clock ticks, the world is changing. It's not just like counting down stealth HP or anything. Like things are going to change.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things to choose from there. There's a lot of options we have. I
should add as well that you have got like maybe 4 or 5 of the Greenwood Outlaws with you. You are able to instruct them to do things on your behalf. They are known in the city. They're not going to be able to make it into the city without being arrested, essentially. Okay. And also, the city is not necessarily the best place for you guys to go, but is an option should you choose to.
So the hill is outside the city where the hanging takes place, or is it in it? Right, Grant.
It's outside the walls,
okay,
yeah.
Great.
In between, it's in between the forest and the city. So, like, you would have to go past the gallows to get to the city gates.
Okay, so Tim will the first thing Tim thought about was taking out the executioner, but then his mind just keeps going, and he goes, "Nah, anyone can kick a stool out from under a man. The executioner is not the important part. I think
getting Guy out of there would be the important part.
What's that?
Get Guy out of there would be the important part.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I'm just saying that.
Sorry, folks.
We know where the executioner lives. Now we could. It's all right. You're back with us now. So
like Gareth just goes to sleep for a few seconds and then wakes back up.
Slap.
Wake up, man.
Look, as a guard, you got to learn to take micro naps just while you're standing. Just
yeah. Now what we could do is we could approach the executioner. He lives in the forest, and we could threaten him or bribe him or blackmail him and say, just when you're hooking that rope up to the top, you make it a slip knot instead of wherever the other knot is. And when Guy drops, knives are my trade, all right.
I didn't go to Hangman's stall, all right.
Well, speaking of not, at the very least,
do I look like a fucking sailor to you? All right? I don't know the knots.
That is a very Gallows Corner line. Do I look like a fucking sailor to you? That's a very Gallows Corner line.
Speaking of knots, I mean, we could at least tie him up.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, if we could blackmail the hangman into
tweaking the rope at the top, so when he drops, the rope goes with him,
So-
and we run like
Well-
fuck. We get him out of there.
Well, we could just
Well,
we'll
that's-
give ourselves more time. I mean, if the executioner doesn't turn up,
Like I just said,
There's always
this is-
executioners.
yeah, you were asleep when I was saying this.
yeah,
Anyone can kick a fucking stool out from under a man. So it's not.
That's
It's
not
not
that
about execution. Is not a profession. Or assassin is a profession. I've heard. Anyway, and so yeah, if we could find out, get some dirt on the hangman and the executioner, and then we can fucking twist it.
Uh,
Well, even
You
though
do it,
there's a
just keep
reason that
afraid.
there would be, if I'm not mistaken, a hangman, and there's a reason that he lives out here, which is, I think, quite a bit.
So
Of
I'm
stigma.
happy to provide some context here, right? So
Mhm.
an executioner, like Dave is right, executioner kind of isn't a job, but it also definitely it's a role, right? So
Yeah.
that executioner is going to have another job, even in a town like Nottingham where there's a lot of
Yeah.
executions. That executioner is going to have another job. However, he is like socially contaminated. No
Yeah.
one wants to be around him, so he's going to live on the outside of town. I
Yeah.
will also add the way Gallows Corner works with moments like this is, first off, it's fine for you to split the party. If half of you want to go one place and half of you want to go another, that's fine. Like, it not only is it fine, it's encouraged. But what we also do is, when you decide what you want to do, I, as the narrator, I'm going to boil what you want to do down to a single verb. And I'm going to confirm it with you if that's what you want to do. And if you say yes, or you can change it or whatever, but that helps drive the action
I
forward.
love this.
So, for example, to build on what Dave is saying, Dave wants to potentially go to the executioner, right? And there's a kind of multi-stage verb thing here, right? So what Tim wants to do is either blackmail, threaten, or otherwise coerce the executioner, right? That's one verb. In order to do another verb, which is to sabotage the hanging, right? And now that could be not tying the rope properly. It could be slicing the rope partly in half so it snaps or whatever. But so what we've got at the moment, Dave is suggesting that we coerce, threaten, blackmail, whatever the executioner. Great, that's one verb, and then the other one is to the overall plan, it seems at the moment, is to sabotage the hanging. So when you're thinking about talking about these things, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to boil them down to verbs, right? So at the moment, it looks like one part of this plan, or the first part of this plan at least, is finding and coercing this executioner. Now, it looks like Tim's going to be leading that effort, but there's other people involved here who can go and do other things.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think however we do it, I suppose, even if it was a matter of incapacitating the hangman so that he can't be there. But I mean, then a part of me is thinking the sheriff, especially with Guy the Greenwood,
he's
he's foregone a trial. I think he will just get whoever he can.
They won't stand
hang him.
like the idea is that you go to the same person every time, so no one else gets socially contaminated, but someone will kick that stool or pull that lever.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not in any other circumstances. Maybe for the rest of the tax refusers, even if it's a kangaroo court, are going to get protocol. They're going to get their day in court. They'll have they'll be hanged in the they'll get their due process. But I think Guy
In this case, if even if you killed the executioner, someone is going to carry that,
which is what I'm thinking. Yeah, someone is good. So just making sure the execution doesn't turn up
one
isn't
of
going to do us any.
ours.
No, yeah, so that's why
Yeah,
Tim wants to
executioner.
get the executioner
Yes.
on our
on
side.
the side. Yeah.
By hook or
On
by crook.
side or
Mhm.
T, what were you
And
going to
if-
say?
otherwise sabotage the actual.
If he won't do
Yeah,
it, have
hanging.
somebody else stand in.
So in that case, then, so T is you've got a backup plan here, which is to disguise one of you as the executioner. No, it's an option. It's definitely an option.
I
All right, so
love this.
what I'm going to do is I am going to, while these deliberations are going on, the clock ticks and
How
you
about I
hear
say
the
one
bells.
of the first things we
Of
said
course.
was, as we've got those 4 or 5 outlaws, we send them down pretty much straight away to deal with the 3 or 4 soldiers and take their uniforms. So we have people there so that when we sabotage this, there's a group of people who can basically go straight in, grab, and go.
And go. Yeah.
And they're
So you
already
want to
wearing-
send the Greenwood Outlaws to do that?
I mean, I'm happy to if we want to send one or two of us down with them, but
Yeah,
essentially, I
if-
think
if
while
there's
we're
enough-
doing this,
for
Mhm.
two on one at least. So if we could get 8 people,
'Cause, like,
Okay, well, so
Eight.
what I would say here is then in that. Sorry, T, you were going to say something. Carry on.
No, I was gonna say, like, surely if we got some of the soldiers' uniforms, helmets should be enough to sufficiently do something to disguise their face, surely, no?
I think a guard is anonymous enough that
Enough.
unless being looked at by a
Too closely.
superior officer
Mhm.
who knows them personally, like the common people aren't going to recognize one guard from another. So you
Okay,
can disguise
perfect.
yourselves in that respect. Also,
Okay,
you
got it.
smear a bit of mud on your face, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
All right. So
whether-
potentially here, then we're potentially splitting the party, right? So we're going to say what? Tim and Kez are going into the woods to find the executioner, while Gareth and Clement and one or two of the
shit.
outlaws
Okay.
Gareth
are
at least
going
knows
down
how
the
to
hill.
Are
stand
Tim and Kaz
like
on
a
the same
guard.
page when it comes to trying to get to blackmail the?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool, great. Okay.
All right,
Um,
so then Gareth and Clement and a few of the outlaws are going to go down and
I say physically, Clement might be better trying to deal with the executioner, but
I don't mind. The 3 of you can go. Yeah, it's probably got to have numbers. I don't mind if just Gareth goes.
okay, that's
the
fine.
outlaws.
We're
And
going
then
to
we
do
can
that.
maybe
Then.
then the last couple of outlaws could also then
Yes.
maybe at the moment could also then shoot arrows to make it look like, oh look, an arrow has broken the rope. So there's this distraction from outside. while
Okay,
the-
so here's the thing. So
Out.
here's as the clock strikes 9.
Yeah.
Here's how
Sorry,
I
just
understand.
before that happens, can I
Yeah.
ask one thing? Does anybody here have any information that on the executioner that I can sort of?
No one.
Okay,
He's
that's fine.
he's an outsider. He
That's
keeps himself to himself.
Cool.
You know where he lives.
I have
but
an
that's
idea.
about it.
I have
Okay,
an
cool.
idea, Dave.
I love
Okay,
this. I
so
love this.
here's what
Okay.
we're going to do. As the clock strikes 9, you see down the hill. So what we're going to say is that about 8:30, before the clock strikes 9, Tim and Kez and Clement go off into the forest. They're making their way towards the executioner. You were off screen at the moment, and what we see is Gareth and a few of the outlaws, including Ivo, who was this crack shot, make their way down the hill. And as you approach the guards, the clock strikes, the city clock strikes, the bells in the city strike 9. And you see the gate open up. You see the city gates open up. And now there are people kind of going in, coming out. And Gareth, this is Gareth seeing this along with the outlaws. And as you approach, tell me how you approach the gallows and how you approach the soldiers here. Now, 2 of them are asleep and 2 of them are awake.
Could I have presumably the 6 of them? Gareth would have. I mean, it would be very useful to take the swords of the people that we'd killed.
Yeah, that's fine. You can be armed.
Possibly
Yeah, that's not a
their
problem.
gear as well. Had have donned the,
yeah,
a shirt of mail.
Yeah.
And their cloaks, whichever one seemed to best fit him.
All right, so that's a very fair point. So here's what I'm going to do for you all, considering that you probably put some, even if it wasn't chainmail, but like padded boiled leather or whatever, I'm going to upgrade all of your physical dice 1 step. So if you're at a D6, you're going to go to a D8. If you're at a D8, you're going to go, in fact, no. If you're at a D6, you can go to a D8. If you're at a D8, you stay at a D8.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, just to not that he's necessarily trying to look like one of these exact guys, but just not look like he's come out of the wood.
Yeah.
And I suppose, I mean, if it was possible, that morning to have shorn himself a little bit.
Yeah.
And he will tie his hair back to make himself a bit more presentable. Walk straight back. He is openly displaying the sword on his belt. He's not making a secret of it. He's walking, one hand on the hill, on the pommel.
Yeah.
And from a distance, from a reasonable distance, sort of hails them.
All right, so I'm going to boil this down to a verb, right? Because this is what I think you're trying to do. You are trying to convince these guards that you are one of the people that were out in the forest, one of these soldiers, that you are part of the sheriff's men,
Or that
right?
just that I'm a sheriff's man.
You're on their side, and you are actually maybe even a superior rank.
Well, he's kind of thinking that he's not going to try and be like, oh yeah, you know me, I'm blah blah blah. He's going to almost.
But you're trying to pull rank on them. You're trying to convince them that you are someone that needs to be listened to, and you give orders and they should be followed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So as you walk up, tell me how you snap these soldiers to attention. Tell me how you get them on your side, listening to you and doing what you want them to do.
He is going to approach, and he will again. He has a hand on the pommel, and he'll kind of know one of the. Well, I suppose if one of them does happen to be, he said they look a bit listless,
Mm-hmm. So these are, as you get closer, you realize that these are like recruits, and 2 of them have been asleep, but they're all a bit drunk. They've been there all night, right? So they're all a bit drunk. They're all a bit, they're not on the best game.
He's kind of like picking up pace as he kind of, comes down the first hill from the woods, just appearing. And he'll just say, what the, well, he probably wouldn't say fuck, but what the fuck are you doing? Or the equivalent. Yeah.
No, fuck is,
say fuck. Yeah. He'll just say, what the and he'll do a bit more of an affected, a kind of a more upper class kind of, as he was, what the fuck are you lot doing?
So these soldiers look around and they recognize, they don't know who you are, right? But they know you look like one of these specially trained soldiers who was sent out into the forest. They know you. They think they know who you are by sight. They snap to attention. The as they snap to attention, the camera is going to fade to black, and we're going to pick up about 9:30. About 9:30 in the woods, and you followed Ben. The 3 of you. So this is Clement and Tim and Kez have followed Ben's instructions, and you approach this clearing in the woods. And it's kind of set down in a little bit of a dip in the woods. And the trees have been cut back, and there is, even calling it a shack would be generous, but there is a shack in the middle of this clearing, and you can see that there's like piles under the piled up dirt that's smoking. There's smoke coming out of it, and you would recognize that this person, whoever lives here, is a charcoal burner. This is how charcoal is made. You bury it underground, you keep it alight, you keep it well ventilated in charcoal forms. Actually, Kez would know this particularly. Kez is going to have done a lot of dealing with charcoal burners because charcoals are needed to keep your forge going, right? But you look down and you can hear inside this shack, you can hear like a dog barking. It's not necessarily barking at you, but it is barking. There is no one else around. But there's smoke coming out of the chimney of this, the makeshift chimney of this shack as well. What are you guys going to do here?
Okay, so before we go in,
you got an idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
I have a number of ideas. One.
Right. What's
blackmail?
Your best one?
Always. Well,
I'll lean towards blackmail.
I do like blackmail. However, considering that this person is on the outskirts of civilization as we know it, I have a feeling he may be quite starved for company.
Which anything.
So, if I'm pretty sure he'd be easily swayed by a promise of company if he overlooked a few things to do with the execution.
Right, and are you going to give him the company before the hanging or after the hanging?
After the hanging, if all goes well. Nobody will know that.
Probably shave your beard first.
You cheeky fuck. I'll get you next. There is that option. Or
just bribe him, could we not all say?
Bribe him? I suppose he is a hangman, but hangmen have very few morals. Money might not mean anything to him. He might be in it for the love of the game.
He'll still need stuff. He's got a dog. He'll want stuff for the dog.
Oh, yes. Actually, no, he does.
I'm sure I can work out.
Oh, no. We're not animals.
A dog.
Mate,
No,
dogs-
we're
We're
not.
suggesting
Dogs
to
are
him
my
that if he
favourite things in the world.
works with
ever.
us, we can provide more items for the dog.
We could
the dog,
fetch him.
yeah.
We could promise him 50 dogs.
More dogs.
I could get him a load of dogs.
There you go.
I need to.
Let's
go
put
into-
that at the bottom of the list.
I'll
Right.
remind you above the table that the clock is ticking.
Okay,
Hey,
okay,
shit,
okay.
sorry. Welcome to
Say this
the
gonna
I
be-
hate
welcome
when
to
you
the
hear
Emerald.
10 o'clock go off.
Welcome to the Emerald Collective.
Okay. We'll start
We
with
can go a
dog
little
first.
after 10.
Lead with the dog. Bribe him with company. If he doesn't go for that, we could just kill him. Somebody takes place.
We'll see if we can get him on our side first, and then
Yeah,
we'll
Okay, fine. If
So
you-
does
if
an
you wanna
executioner
sweeten the
have
pot.
like a fully clothed garb so you couldn't tell who it is?
Black Hood.
Oh, all right. Oh, yeah.
Tim suddenly like, oh,
So the verb that I think we're going for first is we're trying to convince, then we're trying to threaten, then we're killing.
Yes.
yeah.
In that
Convince.
order, if each one doesn't work out. So we're trying to convince first, right? Trying to win over.
Yeah.
All
right.
right. So
The
what?
classic
so-
RPG NPC interaction.
Exactly, yeah.
progression.
that always ended the same outcome.
Threaten, fuck it, just kill him and take what he's got.
Right then.
I think we should start
Yes.
with Gareth. We should start with Gareth first. He can try and bribe.
Oh,
and
I think we should
talk him.
start with you, Cass.
Of course you
Go
would.
in there and go, "All right,
I'm already
Cass,
walking
and
down
I
while
want to
he's doing
marry
this. I've
you.
started
All right, so Clement's already walked down. So what?
Yeah.
Like, so here's the thing. So as you get closer, Clement, you hear the dog start to bark and like paw and scratch at the door. And if I'm honest, this sounds like a big fucking dog. It's inside, but it is aware that you are there. And you, as you were,
the items I was picking up the road yesterday, is there anything that would be constituted reasonable enough meat
Treats?
or something?
I think you
along
could
the
pick
lines
up. You could have picked up a nice ham bone or something like that. That would be
Yoink.
yeah. But the dog is
I will s-
inside, so
I will start with bribery, and we will go from there.
So
Start
is
bribing the
anyone
dog.
knocking on the door?
That's what
I'll
Clement
I'll
is
like
headed towards.
I'll kind of stay a bit to the side.
Yeah.
All right. So as Clement gets up and knocks on the door, the dog starts really barking, and you hear bolts close. Now, a shack of this sort, you wouldn't expect particularly good home security, but clearly this is a man who takes his own security seriously. And you hear these bolts shut, and then suddenly this little like eye visor opens up. You know what I mean? Like it's just a little viewfinder essentially opens up.
Yeah.
And this guy, you see this
He's
guy,
the Wizard
kind
of Oz.
yeah. This guy's kind of grey haired, and you hear him shut the dog up, and he's like, "Shut up, Finn, shut up." You hear him shut the dog up, and the dog is very obedient, it seems, and goes quiet. But you can hear this kind of low growl, grumble happening in the dog.
Yeah.
And this man looks out at you, Clement. He's like, "What the fuck do you want? Why have you come here?"
I'm here to make
Whoa.
a bargain with you, good sir. The
Bargains, I
trade-
here for no.
No, I mean for you, for the dog. I'm sure we can work something out that's mutually beneficial to us all.
So he says, "I don't want anything from you," and he slams the thing shut.
Do you want me to try again, or do we go straight to part 2?
Can I have a sniff around the house and see if this? I mean, as an assassin, I'm used to slipping into places where I'm not supposed to be. So I'd like to look
this-
and see if there's another way in, even if it's a chimney.
There's
There's
no
a
way
chimney.
you could fit. Yeah, you couldn't fit down that chimney. We're
Okay,
talking
fine.
like this is like a single room shack, and the chimney is like it's like
pipe.
this. Yeah, it's a pipe. Yeah,
Okay, cool. So are
but
there?
there is no other way in. This guy takes his security seriously. it
Okay,
seems.
so there's no other way in. Cool. No
Yeah.
worries.
Okay. Try one more time.
So this time you hear the bolts open, and this guy kicks this door open, and next to him you see the largest wolfhound you've ever seen in your fucking life. This thing is massive, and like I don't know how tall we all are, but it's the height of this man when it's fully stood up, and it's growling at you, and he's like, I told you to fuck off. And you see him pull a knife out, and he's like, if I have to tell you again, it won't just be this, it'll be the
I
dog as
bought
well.
a present for your wonderful hound there, and I just thought we could open negotiations. I can put this down
Negotiations
and
about
bonds.
what? I don't even know who you are.
You don't know who you are, and that's absolutely right. But we have a request from you, and we want to make this mutually beneficial for you.
Now that the door's open, can I try and slip in through the shadows into the house and close the door?
So this is a door that's like this wide. There's
Oh,
no way.
he's
Like,
just opened
he's
it like
in-
a
he's-
crack. Oh, sorry. I
No,
thought
he's opened it. He's opened it wide, but there's him and the dog. There's
I
no
thought he
slipping
stepped
in
out.
by
Sorry,
him.
my apologies.
No. He
Okay,
stood
cool.
inside the door still.
Grand.
So yeah, so I'll put the ham bone down the ground, and I'll take a couple of steps back. See, a gift. We're meaning this to open negotiations to start talking.
So he looks at you and he says, "You keep saying, what is that word you keep saying? Negotiate, whatever. What are you saying?"
We would like you to do a task for us, and we are offering to pay you for that task.
Well, why didn't you just fucking say that then? And he kind of steps out. The dog is sniffing around the bone, right? But like still, is sniffing but keeping his eyes on you. What do you want me to do? What is it that's so important that you've come here and disturbed me? Do you not know that I've got work to do?
It's exactly the work. Well, it's not this work we've got you to about. It's the other role that you have for the city. I believe you will be undertaking some of that role around about noon today, and we'd like you to adjust how you approach the task on this particular day.
So the clock bells in the city strike 10 and the scene fades to black, and we end up back over at Hanging Hill. For
I
about
love this
20
bit.
minutes, we've had Gareth shouting at these soldiers, whipping them into shape, getting them up and running. Gareth, what is it that you are asking these soldiers to do?
He was. Well, I think first of all, he had said, that he's like, so he wants to know, he's just like, he says, fucking hell, he says, you can't keep it together for your shift. He said, how much so? When are you being relieved? Who's coming to relieve you?
Oh, they 10 o'clock, sir. 10 o'clock. That's when they said they come. They're always late, but they said 10. The bells, that they'll be them coming out now. And so Gareth, what Gareth sees is that there's still people milling around in and out of the gate, and there's a couple of people starting to move up towards the hill, but you can hear piercing trumpets coming from within the city. It sounds like a procession is starting from and you can see like Nottingham has got the city walls, then up on like a little cliff. I say a little cliff. Up on a cliff is like the castle, and you can hear trumpets coming from that direction. It sounds like they're bringing people out of the castle now.
Okay, and with assuming if I had four of the outlaws nearby, assuming I might ask whether maybe how many of them, not they'd be say recognizable on sight. It's not that they've got a picture of them, but probably not Red Rose or somebody. That's,
these are going to be the least conspicuous people that have come with you.
With the sword, similarly, they're kind of hanging nearby, and he says, well, orders from the sheriff was to double the number of guards. He says, but you useless, I don't want you hanging around. So he says, we'll get this for. He says, I've got 4 of my own men. He says, and I'll stay here for good measure until the sheriff arrives. He says, so call them up here, tell them to get up here sharpish. And then he clicks his fingers up at the outlaws who are sort of just milling up about, around. He just told them to hang around, to come down.
Okay. All right. So you are being tested. Gareth is being tested on his ability to convince these men to follow his orders. Now, I am going to give you I'm going to upgrade your intellectual dice here because you have sold this ruse very well. So whatever your intellectual dice is going to go up by 1 step. So if it's D6, it becomes D8. If it's D8, it becomes D12. Just for this test.
Just for this test, yeah.
But how is it that you're trying to convince these blokes to get moving?
I'm also going to, if I could, throw the physical in just to be
absolutely, of course
presence.
you can, yeah.
Argue for emotional, just to he's got some frustration pent up.
So you want it?
and
So
he's
you
going
want
to
it?
legitimately.
So you're trying to scare the shit out of them. You're trying to scare them into following your orders. You've got your plan with the intellectual. You're trying to physically impose your authority here as well. Yeah, those are all absolutely fine.
The trade. I'm going to trade it again of the body being physically, imposing, moving around the space. You here, you there.
You are trying to physically. You were trying to stamp your authority physically. That's a physical challenge.
Yeah.
I think absolutely you
You've
can add the
seen it,
body.
throwing your weight around.
Yeah, for sure.
You
are trying to be the opposite of a servant here, so I don't think servant's going to come.
No, what exactly? I was going to say I don't think I can. I can't argue for the job.
But that's 4 dice still.
I don't think my skill wouldn't work. Which was insider knowledge, which is a bit more...
not in this case.
No,
not in this case.
Like he has no more insider knowledge than he would just have about ordering people about,
Exactly. Yeah. No, in this case, but 4 dice is still a very good chance here.
Yeah, the physical's a D8, so the intellect has gone up to a D8, and then a D6 for emotion. So
yeah.
Oh, thank God.
That's a rattle you have there.
Out there, yeah.
You got 1 5.
Yeah, it's a little dice.
That's nice. I like it.
All right. So as you give these orders, these men they are terrified that you're going to give them a bad report to their commanding officer when you get back to town. So they're like tugging at their forelocks. They get going, and they're like, "Is there anything else we can do for you before we go, sir? Anything you need from us?"
Like that boot.
Yeah, as I say.
That's what the truth was.
Yeah. He says, I tell you what you can do for me. When I turn back around, you can be completely out of my fucking sight.
And then just turns his back, power move, turns his back. Great. Okay, so these soldiers go running down the hill. They go running back to town.
And he starts shouting at the outlaws. He says, "Get your fucking asses down here!"
So he's carrying on the deception. Yeah. Okay, this is good stuff. All right, so before we resolve anything else, we're going to cut back to our scene in the woods, and we're going to cut back to our negotiations between the executioner and our erstwhile negotiators. So the guy, the executioner is like, he sat there, head in his hands. He's like, "You want me to do what?"
We want you to make sure that when you put through that hanging, it doesn't necessarily go quite according to plan. That's all we're asking.
So you want me to you want me to not hang him? You want me to not hang?
We want the rope to fail when the hanging occurs.
Oh, but you know what'll happen to me if that happens, right? I'll never work again.
We've got a man who can arrange for an arrow to go past about the same time and make it seem like, ooh, the arrow did lucky shot. So
you want the rope to snap. You don't want it to fall. You want it to snap, because if this arrow's going to happen, then I've got to be able to.
Exactly that.
Say this.
This is your specialism. I don't know how to hang people. That's not what I've been taught. But if you need it to we have an arrow that can swing by and make it look wonderful archers. We can make that happen.
So he looks around at you, and he looks down at the dog, and he kind of gives the dog's head a scratch. And he's like, "All right."
Make sure the dog gets a few more treats afterwards, like a few contacts. We can make sure there's a couple of bits you need for the house. We can work this out.
I can always make sure that you're kept in business in terms of charcoal.
So he's like, "I can't even think about charcoal right now, mate. I can't think about that." So he looks at it, he's like, "All right." He said, "Here's what I can do, but there's going to be a price. Here's what I can do. Sure. I can slit that rope so that it snaps when he goes down. But whoever you've got shooting that arrow has to be Johnny on the spot with it. That thing has to arrive as soon as that rope snaps. Otherwise, they're going to know I was in it."
Arrange that for sure.
But here's what I want. I want gold. And I want enough of it that I haven't got to do this anymore. I can move, I can leave, I can go somewhere else.
Is there such a thing as an insight check in this game where I can try and know? So I
can test you on it. If you want to know what's going on, I can give you the test.
So what Tim wants, Tim's trying to suss out whether this guy is going to say he'll do it and report us, or say he'll do it and do it. So, is
Well,
there
I
a
mean,
way-
so here's the thing. I would assume that you, knowing this and suspecting this, you would be with this guy the whole time between now and this hanging happening, like, to make sure that wouldn't happen, right? So,
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
in which case, there would be no need for a
well,
test.
that's fine.
'cause
That good, grand.
You're
Yeah,
gonna be there
cool,
with
cool.
it.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, in terms of above the table, in terms of is there an insight check?
Yeah.
No, there isn't. But there is.
Okay.
If you like, I want to know what this guy's thinking. I'll be like, okay, you're being tested on your ability to read this person's intentions.
Cool.
And some people are better at that than others.
Okay.
So this guy's like, yeah, gold. I want gold, and I want passage out of the county. Can you arrange that? You and your fucking outlaws, can you arrange that?
Travelled through this county more than once, travelling through, and don't see me having visited you up to this point. Gold might take a little longer to sort out, but we can absolutely, I'm sure we can work out items, apparatus for that, yeah.
So he looks at you, and you get the sense that this is like, he's really wrestling with this, right? He's really wrestling with this decision, but he sees this as a route out. He doesn't like being a hangman. Why would he? He doesn't like this.
Yeah.
He wants out. He wants a new life, and you guys have. He sees you as his ticket to a new life, and he's like, all right, I'll fucking do it.
Glad
But
to
you
hear
guys
it.
better make sure that this all goes to plan, and you better make sure I get paid, and you really better make sure I get out of fucking Nottinghamshire.
We can
I
absolutely-
fucking hate it here.
So he's okay with us not giving the money up front.
Yeah, he knows you're not going to be carrying that amount of gold around with. No one's carrying, as far in his world, no one carries that amount of gold
Okay.
around with.
Mhm.
And he also believes that we can get him at a Nottingham.
What do you mean believes? What you trying to do to
I'm
this
just double
man?
checking. Listen, I'm honest to God, I am that close to cutting this guy's throat.
I
And
can see
stealing-
that.
Stealing his uniform and
I'm doing it yourself.
doing the hanging myself.
So I would.
And I really wanted to. I don't know what that was, but and I really want to fucking do this. But
All right,
I'm
so
happy to. Yeah.
He is more than familiar enough with the Greenwood Outlaws. He's hanged
Okay.
a few of them. He's more than familiar enough with with them to know that they can pull this off if he does what they want him to do. And you're speaking on their behalf essentially. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
so he sticks out his hand. He spits on it. He says, "Do we have a deal?"
Does he have
we
a spare
fucking- we
uniform?
certainly do.
Oh
He
yeah,
doesn't
the
wear-
hangman
he doesn't
assistant.
have. He does no. I mean, if there was, they'd just be wearing a black hood as well.
Well,
so.
does he have a spare black hood?
Yeah, if you want it, you chuck me a copper, you can have it. It's yours. That's
Yeah,
my
yeah,
spare one.
He'll take the spare one.
Okay.
Oh no!
All right,
Don't
so-
you fucking dare, Tim!
Just in
Don't
case.
you dare! Okay.
So as the camera zooms in on the handshake between Clement and our hangman, and then we cut briefly to Tim putting this black hood on, and the scene cuts. The scene cuts, and we pan across Nottingham. We pan across Nottingham as the bells ring out 11, and the camera sees a procession of people, a procession of soldiers marching, followed by lots of commoners and some merchants and some more well-to-do people marching a man in chains through the streets and out to the gates. And as he approaches the gates, Gareth and his outlaws are able to see down, and they see that there's a huge mass of people coming out of the gates and moving up to the gallows. And our negotiators are now making their way from the forest to the gallows, intending to be there before the soldiers arrive, obviously. Gareth has probably 20 minutes to do whatever he's going to do to this gallows, if he's going to do anything before there are too many people around for this to be, you've got a mass of people coming out of the city making their way up to watch the hanging. And the bells ring 11.
To be honest, he's debating whether to stick with his, because he sent those people down, and it's like, oh, you've doubled up and whatever, and he's debating whether we take out these four guys now and make it just look like we're the four people.
So
who
those
relieved the
guys are
last one.
gone. They're long gone. They're back in the city by now.
No, but the four that came up to relieve them, or are they not?
So
here
they've
yet?
not come back up yet. They've not come back
Oh,
up.
yeah,
They'll be
okay.
coming up with the procession.
Oh, okay. Then I think we're all right then. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm trying to think. what he could do to. I mean, obviously he doesn't know what
Yeah,
they've worked.
I mean,
out
there's
with
also a
Hangman.
thing. There's also like the situation is that, like, so if we look at it this way, I think what we're going through Gareth's mind is that he has secured the site, right?
Yeah.
He has, if things go wrong and he needs to jump up there and cut Guy down, he can do that from where he is now. So perhaps the verb here would be secure or prepare.
Well, I'm just thinking what else could be done. You know, is there time to call? Actually, George, I don't know. Was it, you know, discussed? I think it was, but just what, like what Red Rose and what some of the other outlaws do. What was their part of the plan again? What were
they are? There's 3 of them left in the borders of the forest, and they are there. They are there as a rear guard. They are there to cover your escape back to the forest. Whether or not you're able to get Guy out of there, you need to get back to the forest.
Yeah.
They are. There's a couple of archers up there ready to cover your escape.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's any. No, is there any use in, because the sheriff would be expecting 4 people to be up here, and I've got 4 outlaws, and me, is it worth one of the outlaws going, unless he would be seen, going sort of hiding underneath the gallows?
I think someone underneath would be seen.
I think because they're raised relatively high.
Yeah, they're raised up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Like, this is me being at a loss for, you know, right? What else could I do to sort of?
I mean, I think it's safe enough to sit there and say that you have taken command of the gallows, right? So you're securing them. You are basically forming a perimeter directly around them to control this space. Should anything go wrong, because you don't know where the rest of the guys are. Well, actually, so as you're doing this, right, as you're setting up around. Go for it.
I might, if all else fails, Gareth is going to say, so one of the outlaws, whoever has if there's a very small knife, or if they can't find a small knife, if you can find a sharp bit of metal, you know, or anything that would cut, Guy is going to recognize the outlaws.
Yeah.
So he's going to have 2 of the recognizable outlaws, the 2 of the with them the longest, that Guy would know the best, have them facing the procession. And he's saying, you don't hide your face. You just look as though you're meant to be there. You look.
Yeah.
Guy's going to see you, and whichever of them they think can get the job done the best, try and slip Guy this sharp object that you can put it into his hands, and if he's able to cut the bonds around his wrists, you know, to basically try and slip him something.
Okay, all right, this is good. So I'd say the verb here then is you are organizing. That's what you're doing. You are organizing the rescue, essentially, as best you can. So you don't need to roll on that. These outlaws are all willing. Guy has laid down his life multiple times for these people. They are always going to be willing to do the same for him. So as the procession starts to come up the hill, and you see, as you're organizing your men around, our negotiators and the executioner arrive on scene. And with them is Lucky Laura of Loudham, who's Guy's second in command. And she's come down out of the hills with you. And as the executioner steps up onto the platform with his assistant executioner coming up alongside him, and starts to tie the rope, and Tim sees this, he makes a cut in the rope. You couldn't see it, especially if it's pulled tight, but as you can see, he's cut 3/4 of the way through that rope. It's not going to hold the weight.
So Tim is there.
You are on the scaffold with the executioner, and then Kez and Clement are around as well.
Is Guy there?
Said that I have left earlier, so I've told whoever the best archer is on our rear guard that this is going to happen. And then Clem's going to be kind of wait. He's going to wait till the crowd's built up, and he's going to kind of be somewhere between.
All right.
The route,
so
he won't be on the platform. He's going to be in between.
So you're there. All right, this is great. So I would say that what we've got Kez and Clem around in between the forest and the scaffold. You're there as the kind of like to make a channel to get him out of, right? To force the crowd open. Tim is up on the scaffold with the executioner, and Gareth has secured and taken command of the area around.
Yeah.
Okay, so as the crowd starts to come, get really, really, really busy now. There's probably about 300 or 400 people here to watch this. And most of these people you see are kind of peasants and working class people. And the mood is febrile, it's tense, it's angry. These people are not happy that this is happening. And then off to the side, there's more finely dressed people, merchants, shop owners, politicians, councilmen, guild members, that kind of stuff, who are keeping themselves to themselves. They're keeping their distance from the peasants, but they seem quite jubilant. This is a celebration for them. This is a good event for them. And as the clock starts to strike 12, you see a man with unmistakable presence, but unmistakable. You cannot avoid the fact that this man looks physically and mentally and emotionally broken. His head is down, his hands are tied together with rope at his front. He's being pushed along by guards. He looks like he's gone 7 rounds. His face is all bruised and bloodied. But it's clearly for the crowd, they all recognize it's him. And you hear people shouting out his name. He's not responding whatsoever. And there's a priest, like I say, a priest. He's more of a friar. He's kind of shabbily dressed in the crowd, carrying like a crucifix on a pole, and he's kind of giving out benedictions and praying for this man's soul, and he's kind of whipping the crowd up with him, and the crowd are really angry. And as the clock strikes 12, Guy is put up onto the scaffold. I'm going to flip a coin to see if Gareth's outlaw was managed to slip that knife into his hand. Gareth, call it heads or tails for me.
Tails.
Tails it is. So you've noticed that Guy head down.
Ready to use that opportunity.
So Guy head down has just looked around as he's coming up the stairs. He's noticed 2 of his outlaws. Without acknowledging them, the blade has been passed. And Dave, Tim is up on this gallows now with Guy and is putting the rope around his neck.
He's not.
Okay, tell me what he's doing.
Tim has a rope that is not damaged, and he has a noose that is not damaged.
Right.
And it's in his cloak, and he's going to lean in to Guy, and he's going to say, "Hello, my brother."
Okay.
Hello, my brother. Now, there was once upon a time when you killed our father, and you came to old Tim to ask Tim to remove the body. There was something I couldn't do. You got rid of the body yourself. And is he aware of the dagger that he has?
No.
Okay. So, well, in that case, what he'll say is, I have an opportunity to put you fucking down, but I'm not gonna take it because when old Tim goes through the trash bags, the rubbish bags, he collects things. I've already collected favors from one of my friends. Now I'm going to collect a favor from you.
Right, this is fucking genius, and I love this. So this is the scene as seen from both Kez and Clem's position, right? You are off to the side. Guy is facing so you're here. Guy is facing this way, and you can see, that it's Tim putting this rope around his neck, and you can see this assistant executioner whispering to Guy of the Greenwood, and you just see one tear fall down Guy's face. He's not other than that, not belying any recognition that this has happened. But Tim, you can hear him shiver and shake. Like he knows who you are. The clock continues striking 12, and I will add that we've got 2 beats left on this clock now, 2 segments left on this clock, whereas we have had 1 tick per hour. Each tick now is going to be 10 seconds.
Love it.
The crowd is getting whipped up and riled up, and this priest is like, Lord, save this poor condemned man who's done nothing but help, and that there's nothing but help the people around here. The crowd are getting riled up and things are happening. And as the clock strikes its last 12, the camera cuts to each one of you in turn, lingering on your faces for a few seconds. And I tick the clock, and the executioner kicks the stool out from under Guy, and he falls. And suddenly an arrow flies out just as the stool is kicked. An arrow flies straight out from the edge of the forest. And as the rope snaps under the weight of Guy, we know the arrow shoots straight past it and sticks into the wood of the gallows. The crowd loses their fucking minds. Soldiers and guards who have been protecting, who've come up with the procession, are trying to fight their way onto the gallows. Gareth, what are you and your outlaws doing in this moment? Now, bear in mind, this is a fight. You've got 5 seconds here. What are you and your guys doing in this situation?
Well, 2 of the guys are making sure that, well, I'd say one of the guys is making sure that Guy is, if he hasn't freed himself, is, up, and at least he probably won't be able to move very fast. So someone's.
So one of the guys is jumping up onto the scaffold, cutting the ropes, and trying to push him off to the side. Get him out there, right?
If he's not already out, and Gareth and you see, how many guards are there? How many men does it show?
There's
dozens?
20, 30 here.
Shit.
No, we can't. We can't take them. I don't think we can take them. Well, it just seems like a bad idea. Live to fight another day. Guerrilla tactics. We got Guy. That's the important thing. We want to sort of make for the tree line before they know that we're.
So in the confusion, you're seeing that Guy gets dragged off the scaffold, and you're making for the forest, right? You're kind of a guard for him, but a dispersed.
It's the smart thing to do, but we're making sure that we're on a guard. We're making sure.
This is the thing. So in Gallows Corner, just quickly above the table, in Gallows Corner, death is really, really quick if it comes. Like if you go up against trained soldiers, you are going to die. Like it's just going to happen.
Yeah, it's like you might take. It's like you might take.
You might take 1 or 2 with you, but then
but it's like we need the numbers, which is. They are the few and we are the many, but we all have to be on the same.
All right. So Gareth then is like the outlaw. One of the outlaws jumps up onto the gallows and is dragging Guy off. Is Tim going along with this? Is Tim like whipping his hood off and going along with this?
What Tim is going to do is Tim's going to use an opportunity, if that's all right. Okay. So what Tim is going to do is he's going to sorry, I'm going to plug in my thing here. 1 sec. Okay, so cool. So what Tim's going to do is use an opportunity, and he's going to direct everyone's attention to the assassin on the wall, and go, it's an assassin. He's coming for you, and just try and cause absolute chaos so we will aid our escape out.
So you're trying to draw attention towards the wall.
So they all look towards the wall so we can just get the fuck out.
All right, so the soldiers, seeing as you've spent an opportunity, I'm not going to make a test here. So the soldiers they perceive a threat behind them, so they turn. And Tim rushes off the gallows down with this outlaw and with Guy, and sees Gareth making his way through the crowd. And as you jump down, we have Kez and Clem trying to make a space, and Laura is waiting at the bottom waiting on the ground for Guy, and she catches him as he falls off, and she just plants this massive kiss on his cheek, and he looks at her, and as she's dragging him away, he looks at her and smiles for what looks like the first time in months. And as you see him, you can see why people want to follow this man, the charisma that is beaming off of him. And as she kisses him and he looks at her, he just winks at her and he's like, "Took your time, love," and goes running off with her. And
she did fuck all. We did all the work.
And as you're all making
He should
your
be
way
kissing me.
No, this is not Star Wars.
Making your way to the.
What happens as we make our way to the trees?
Okay, we're back.
There we go. As you're making your way to the trees, you see these arrows start flying out of the tree line, hitting soldiers as they're running behind you, trying to catch up with you. And as you take one look over your shoulder, let's say Clem, as you take one look over your shoulder, you see the crowd turn on the guards and start pushing the guards back to town.
I was about to shout before we left to make the crowd do that anyway, to try to make them charge down the merchants. So
there we go.
Excellent.
And as you turn and run, you see the Greenwood Outlaws covering your escape with a flurry of arrows. Well done, everyone. You have rescued Guy of the Greenwood.
Even though I wanted to hang him.
You can hang him later.
And given the sheriff a black eye in spirit, if not in person. Well done. Give yourself a round of applause.
I was going to. I was maybe like, it's far too much for me. It's like, I'm going to use my opportunity to assassinate the sheriff of Nottingham. I was like, I think that's your job.
So,
that was loads of fun.
I'm really glad you enjoyed it.
It was loads of fun.
You have all gained 10 influence for your daring heroics.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Holy moly.
Nice.
That's a lot of influence, but you've just done something absolutely massive. And now, to be fair, I should have given you 5 for saving the refugee train and 5 for this, but I forgot to do it earlier on, so you're all getting 10 influence. So 10 influence, if I remember correctly, without diving back into the rule book, that is enough for you to go up a level of fame from unknown. And that gets you enough to gain retainers. You can each recruit 1 retainer at some point during your Nottingham adventure. And that kind of counts as a level up, right? You have someone that's going to join you as a follower.
Does the wolfhound count as a retainer?
It does not. It does not count as a retainer, unfortunately.
Okay.
But what a retainer would do is they have their own EXP dice, their own traits, their own trade, their own job, their own skills, and you can use those as an extension of your own character.
Yeah.
But the important thing here is you have saved a folk hero, and he now lives to fight another day, and you've escaped back into the woods. I really, really hope you've all enjoyed yourselves.
Loads of fun, and the idea of just like I said, like how loosey goosey it is, just with the idea of not like that the rules aren't the rules, but that we can just go, we can sort of
doing this now.
Explore with you,
how
we'd like to do these things, and it's.
So my intention
it's not computer says no.
Nothing was outrageous. Nothing was like outlandish.
Yeah. It's not computer says no. It's just explain to me how do you want to do this?
We're doing things our characters would and could do.
So I'm really glad that's come across, and I'm really glad you've enjoyed it, because my take on designing a system of this is I feel like I tried to do this and succeeded to an extent with Mappamundi, but I feel like Gallows has really got it. Is I want the system to be robust enough that it just works and it gets out of your fucking way.
I feel like we have to, like, we roll dice if we have to.
Exactly. So you will note as well that I didn't roll a single dice in that entire session. I didn't.
And there was still a nice bit of dice rolling, enough to kind of, do a bit of rolling when you want, when you wanted, and
But the system should get out of your way and just let you and the narrator work together.
Absolutely did.
And so the system should be robust enough to allow you to do whatever you want, as long as you can describe how you're doing it. And then the narrator just needs to be like, okay, this is what you're being tested on. The narrator, for the system, for the narrator is like, okay, make it a verb. And
the verb thing I loved.
The
verb thing is I've never experienced that in like any other TTRPG.
It's a great little way of looking at it.
Brilliant.
So you were going to love it extra more then, because when the point crawl starts, so I'll give you, like, I don't have a map.
Oh,
another freeze. Teasing us.
Freezing us.
With me. I've got something in every count. I'm back.
You're back.
For the point crawl.
Yeah.
every county in England, you can go to every individual county in England and go to London as well, and each of them are broken down into their hundreds, right? So I know hundreds are an English thing, they're also an Irish thing, and there's hundreds and liberties and stuff like that. In Ireland, they're more baronies and stuff like that, but like you can break a county down into these places. And what you do is when you're building the point crawl, you have what's called a county verb. So if I was sat with you guys and we were going to build Essex, which is my original county I was born in, right? If we were going to build Essex, I'd ask you what you wanted to do during this season, spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And you might, the example that we give in the book is you might want to inspire the people of Essex to break free from the oppression of the monarchy, right? So I ask you what you want to do.
Already.
Right, we all are, right? I ask you what you want to do, and then I have to come up with what's called the county verb. So I then have to think about what your enemy in the county is going to do in response to that. So the verb I would come up with is break, right? You want to break people free, they want to break the people. So in the book, the example that I give is I give the High Sheriff of Essex, Robert Fitzwilliam, who was the actual High Sheriff of Essex in 1376. And I'm like, okay, he wants to break the people of Essex. The county verb is break, so I need to come up with the county clock, the big clock that's going to tick in the background while you're trying to do stuff. What is your enemy trying to do? So the High Sheriff is going to try and break the people by creating an artificial famine.
Wow.
And so that is ticking away in the background while you are trying to liberate. And every point on the crawl you go to, every point on the map, every 100 has its own verb. So it might be celebrate or mourn or protect or fight or recruit or play and learn and all of these different things. And as you go to each one, each scene you take place in is around that verb, but each of them contributes to that county verb and that county clock. You are trying to break people free. They are trying to break the people's spirit. So that verb system is the structural foundation of every bit of Gallows Corner. From you are trying to cut a man down from a gallows to you are trying to overthrow England and build something better in its place. The verb system runs throughout all of it.
So cool. I think we should do another one.
Can I just say something in the spirit of
Just
overthrowing?
You're on mute, mate.
Oh, am I? Yeah.
Oh
no, sorry. Sorry. In the spirit of overthrowing England. I mean, who's gonna, if you know, Ireland source book when, you know?
Well, so this is the thing. I see Gallows Corner as a rule set. I see it as one and done. Like I don't see there being expansions for the rules, but I definitely see. I would love to do. There's already talk about doing a Scottish Highland clearances one. Yeah. I would see for Ireland, I would see the resistance against Cromwell as the Irish source.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah. And for Wales, I see the Glyndŵr Rebellion. Yeah. So which is almost happening at the same time as Gallows Corner is as the. But this is the beautiful thing about Gallows Corner. You pick your
real revolutionary point. Yeah,
exactly. Gallows Corner.
Your points of highest pressure, which certainly, Cromwell.
Yeah, is a bit. Gallows Corner works at any country and any time period because we don't have stats for weapons or anything.
Let's say, more modern, Cuban Revolution.
We should do another one, like in a couple of weeks or maybe like 3 or 4 weeks.
Absolutely. Well, what we can do is you just played the first act of this 3-act adventure. So
that'd be great.
We can go into Nottingham next.
Yeah,
nice.
I'd love to see these characters back again. I think. Continue this story.
We can talk about that. Yeah.
Oh, me too.
If you guys are in, I'm here to run.
We're absolutely in. That was great fun.
Listen,
it's so good.
We've just gained fame. We have to.
All right,
now's the time. Strike while the iron is
waste.
hot.
Exactly. Strike while the kneecap is bared.
But guys, thank you seriously. Even if we don't get to play again, thank you so much for taking time to play Gallows Corner. Obviously, I'm going to do my little spiel if you don't mind for anyone.
Go for it.
It's all yours.
So Gallows Corner, a Peasants Revolt RPG. I should add, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, this is a cloth bound.
It's a beautiful book.
This is the standard. This is the standard edition. Everyone gets this. So Gallows Corner launches on Kickstarter at 1 p.m. GMT, February the 3rd. So that's like a day and a half.
What are the tiers like?
So we do a low income tier. So low income tier is £10. You just get the PDF of the core book, no questions asked. Digital tier, you get £15 is the PDF of the core rule book plus the 4 zines as PDFs. You get the physical edition, which is just the book and the zines as PDFs. That's £45. And then you get the beautiful boxed edition. So obviously with Mappamundi, we did a boxed edition. And like as Rep can show us now, my
see Rep
copy's
reaching.
off to hand.
Yeah, I don't know about like I have no experience with your other
Also,
releases.
the boxed edition will see where those cards
Oh,
are.
man, that looks delish.
Instead of cards, there will be the 4 physical zines.
Okay.
So you get the 4 physical zines, the book, and the box. And the box art, guys, seriously, we're not revealing it until Tuesday. But let me just say that it features a new character of ours who we call the Saint of the Gallows. And it's done in stained glass style. Like it's
amazing.
What are we looking at? Like what's the price for that?
That's £75. So you get
£75.
book,
That's
box,
good.
and 4 zines.
Do not look at my Kickstarter.
But
right?
that's good. That's good. That's good for a quality box. And also, just actually for the people, obviously, George obviously shared with us, some sort of preview materials, so we build characters and stuff. And the art is, and sorry, George,
Yes.
is it Joel Fitzpatrick? The
Joel
artist?
Kilpatrick.
Kilpatrick, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
fantastic
So
art.
good.
So I can only imagine what that box set art is going to.
So,
Oh,
and this is
look
the
at
thing.
that.
So we do we
pretty.
tried. For me, accessibility is around price. I grew up so poor that price accessibility is really important for us. So you get £75 for this cloth bound silver foil book in a box, fully illustrated hard box with 4.
There's even a map inside the cover.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Like,
shit.
Mappamundi.
That's
That was our
That's the
first
Mappamundi
one.
book.
100% in for
That's
this.
that's the lid,
It's
and
amazing.
it has a map inside it.
oh,
There's
that's
your
handy.
proof of quality.
You know what? You want to know the best bit about it as well is so the campaign runs from February 3rd to March the 3rd. We will be delivering copies to our UK and Ireland backers by the end of May.
Wow.
So
This
what?
year.
Nah.
This year.
That
We delivered Mappamundi
Very
in
cool.
11 weeks.
That's
11
amazing.
weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, I've had that box for months, and that
That's
wasn't even a
incredible.
completed
That's
campaign a
super
year
cool.
ago. So
Well,
Yeah, very excited to get this now and run it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Let's see if we get the
seriously,
man
thank you
himself
so
to come
much.
back.
I
Thank you.
honestly, hit me up. I'm always happy to come back. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it. I'm so glad you enjoyed yourselves.
It was
I had a
great.
whale of a time. I love running
I
this
did
game.
too.
It was great
yeah,
fun. I really hope we can do another
French
one.
Revolution. The obvious.
I was going to say French Revolution.
How did they not
Could
think of
you?
that?
Yes.
Name is Gallows Corner.
Let's make it
This
a
is your life
musical.
now, George. You just a new revolution
Bring
game
him
forever. It's just going to be.
Yeah.
All you need to do to put it into a different context is maps. That's all you need to do the
Yeah.
point.
Mhm.
crawl. And even then, you can abstract it. Like our
Yeah.
London map is not broken down like into hundreds. It's broken down into gates. Aldgate, Newgate, Bishopsgate, Cripplegate, all these different places, plus the docks, plus St. Paul's and stuff like that. You can abstract the space. And you have played in one point and we've abstracted the space. But like, if you want to do the point crawl, find a county map of a place, divide it into parishes and add a verb to each. Bing, bash, bosh, you're done. Gallows
That's
Corner.
so cool.
Oh, I love this. Love this so
Yeah.
much. Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, let's do another one before the campaign ends.
Let's do
Yes,
it.
please.
Let's do
I'd
it.
love to do it.
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah.
guys.
Me too.
Diamonds.
Marvellous.
Thank you so
Thank
you,
much
chat,
for
for
being
being
live
with
the
us.
commons and long live
Take care,
the
guys.
Revolution.
Thank you, George. Thank you to
Viva
our
la
players.
Revolution.
People.
Come back to us on Tuesday, and we'll see how Kara gets on with wherever his party's up to, whatever. I think Def is seriously on the table for where they are at the minute. I believe they are being warned about that. Pleased to see us again. Thank you to everyone at the table, and we hope to see you back for the revolution again in maybe a few weeks. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye bye.